at Yankee Stadium. Ryan Ruocco alongside a couple of familiar faces, a couple of Golics. We have Mike Jr. and Mike Sr. I'm just glad you're letting me be part of the family reunion.
Yeah, until the post-game buffet, then we're going to need you to step aside. And I'm just looking to impart some wisdom here on Junior that I'm sure he won't listen to, like his childhood as well. But I know you listen to the coaches, especially from Pitt, talking about this offense and all the movement and the bells and whistles that all really kind of leads to one basic thing.
Yeah, we did listen to Matt Canada talk yesterday, and what he had to say is this is an offense you're going to see a lot of that movement. You'll see shifts, you'll see fly motions, everything to basically window dress what they really want to get to, and that's getting James Conner the ball. He's been the great story all year. He is their bell cow back, and if this team is going to be successful and get that victory today, it's going to be because James Conner willed them to do so.
Yeah, we will see how Northwestern can stop the impressive offensive numbers from Pitt. That's one of the things on the table of Pat Fitzgerald, the head coach of Northwestern, who is with our Paul Carcaterra.
Coach, you grew up on the south side of Chicago as a White Sox fan. What has this Yankee Stadium in New York experience been like for you and your program?
It's been first class. We can't thank the Yankees, the new era Pinstripe ball folks enough. You and I are at first base right now. You know, where's Junior? Let's turn two. But it's a great honor to be here.
Pitt's offense, 42 points a game, top 10 in the FBS. What does your defensive unit need to do to slow them down?
Well, A, we got to communicate, and B, we got to tackle well, especially when we get one-on-one situations, which we're going to be in, and enjoy the moment. We're playing a bowl game in Yankee Stadium. We couldn't be more blessed, and we're excited for it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks. Go Cats.
Now on the offensive side of things for Northwestern, Golic Sr., I know they have a wide receiver quarterback combination that you're very fond of.
Yeah, they really do. And let's start with a wide receiver in Austin Carr, a walk-on, a guy who came to Northwestern for the academics, walked onto the football team, and all of a sudden you'll see the numbers in front of you, and was a Bolitnikoff finalist as one of the top wide receivers in the country. All that said about this young man, and the best thing Pat Fitzgerald, his coach, said about him was, one day this young man could be the president of the United States. He's that good a man. And the guy throwing him the ball is pretty good as well. Clayton Thorson, a guy, we've seen a Northwestern grad in the pros, and Trevor Simeon with the Denver Broncos. Thorson, 6'4", 220, gained a lot of experience this year. Didn't turn the ball over a lot at all. Just looking to gain more experience. Has a gun, can get the ball all over the field. Be a great test for him today against Pittsburgh.
Well, Pittsburgh won the toss. They have elected to defer, so they will kick off to Northwestern. Northwestern with Flynn Nagel and Solomon Vault. Back deep to receive, as Chris Blewett will kick it away. And the 2016 New Era Pinstripe Bowl is underway with a touchback. We'll take a look at today's keys to the game. They are brought to you by Franklin American Mortgage Company, and some New York references here, guys.
Yeah, you're going to want to watch out for Northwestern on the offensive side of the ball there, really establishing a ground there. They've got a phenomenal back in Justin Jackson, 3 straight years over 1,000 yards right now. Going to be the key to get that going for them.
And on that defensive side for Pittsburgh, mind that rush. They like to slant up front. They got to keep those rush lanes and not open up, create big gaps for this running game.
On first down, the give is to Jackson, who wiggles his way upfield for 3. Matt Galambos on the tackle.
This is going to be a test for that, again, that Pittsburgh defense. And I was saying, those defensive linemen, they love to slant. And from the coach's aspect, they say, just keep going. Make penetration in the backfield. Try and reestablish that offensive line 1 yard behind the line.
On 2nd and 7, a screen right for Jackson. Trying to sneak through a hole and pound it to the ground. At about the 32, Galambos again on the tackle. And it'll be 3rd and short after a gain of 4. Northwestern 6-6 on the season. Pat Narduzzi, head coach of Pitt, called them the best 6-6 team in the nation. A lot of respect for his opponent. 3rd and 3. Thorson under pressure. He'll go down. Multiple bodies there, including Shakir Soto and Alan Edwards for Pitt.
This is what you see out of Pittsburgh. They love doing games up front. They'll do the twist, the tackle end or the end tackle on one side, and they'll push on the other side. You look at the right defensive tackle, that's just a straight push. The left side of the D-line had a stunt, the right side a straight push. Great straight hand push. I know, Mike, as a former D-lineman, you don't like being on skates, and that's exactly what the left guard was for Northwestern on that play.
Now, Quadri Henderson, as dangerous a return man as there is in the nation, back for Pitt. And Northwestern does not want to kick it anywhere near him. As Nicewander kicks it short. Henderson will take it at the 40. Could not slip out of a tackle. Covered nicely, and no real return there for Quadri Henderson as the Pitt offense takes over as we take a look at today's PlayStation View Player Spotlight. And James Conner, we know his story off the field, so many of us with him overcoming Hodgkin's lymphoma, but his numbers on the field, Junior, incredibly impressive.
Became the ACC career touchdowns leader this year, but listening to him talk, he'd be the first to admit that he hasn't felt fully himself until the last 3 or 4 games of the season this year, so by the high standard he had, just getting back to the player he's accustomed to being.
Plenty more on James Conner playing his final college game throughout this afternoon. Play action.
Going deep.
Peterman looking deep down the right sideline, and the catch. It's made at the 20-yard line by Dantes Ford. Got the foot in bounds for a gain of 38.
Well, we talked about all the bells and whistles and movement, Mike, but just to set up a Conner run, well, it's the play action now for the out and up for Ford.
And Pitt quickly to the line, and this will be stopped and perhaps reviewed.
Now for the review.
Yes, they will indeed review whether or not Dantes Ford got a foot in bounds. Dan Romeo, our referee.
Great job going up for the ball. Absolutely got the foot in bounds. Defensive back, never looking back for the ball. Trey Williams doesn't look back, just looking at the receiver. So Ford's able to high point him and get really no resistance from the cornerback. Easy getting the foot in bounds.
It is. It's a great job getting that. You only need the one out here and setting that play up. You mentioned all of the different action that we're going to get accustomed to seeing today. One thing on that play that you saw, the quadri out.
Confirmed.
The catch confirmed, so it will stand with a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for Pitt. And a big play right out of the gates for Matt Canada and that Pittsburgh offense, which last seen put up 76 points against Syracuse in a 76-61 victory. Here's that motion. Henderson juggles it, picks it up. Can he make something of it? 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing. He'll end up losing 8.
And right there, potentially seeing the effects of the cold day. We know they love to use that fly sweep. Quadri Henderson, for all of his, oh, we have a Northwestern player down.
Kyle Cairo is down, and he is a big part of that Northwestern secondary.
Well, we're going to see a lot of this again. The jet sweep. Matt Canada loves all this motion, loves all this movement. But you got to get a clean handle. Looks like a clean handle. Maybe a little high up in the chest plate there. Not able to handle it. And then when this guy, listen, when he reverses field, you still think he can make a play. You got to break down like Northwestern does. Good gang tackling there.
Yeah, we listened to Pat Fitzgerald talk about Quadri Henderson as a returner and a guy who, as he said, his explosiveness has won them games during different times of the season. As adept as anyone at putting his foot in the ground on those fly sweeps, getting up and getting yardage. That time, just working on holding on to the ball.
That foot in the ground only helps when you have the ball in your hands.
That's step 1, yeah, and then step 2.
It's a process.
Yeah. Now, Cairo going out, a significant injury for Northwestern. They are already going to have their hands full with a Pitt offense that, as Junior documented in the open, was top 10 in the FBS in scoring. And so now Pat Fitzgerald will send in Jared McGee to replace Kyle Cairo. And it'll be 2nd and 18 for Pitt. Conner splits out right. Peterman with the empty backfield. Quick throw over the middle through the hands of his tight end Orndorff. And it will be 3rd and long.
See what Pitt wants to establish. Again, we've seen the jet sweep, we've seen an out and up, and we've seen a pass to a reliable, normally tight end in Orndorff, 33 catches on the year, ball going through his hand. This is always interesting, and Mike, you can emphasize this as we go on. These first couple of series, the first 10 or 15 plays as we get into it, just what an offense is trying to establish.
A 3rd and 18 here for Pitt. With 3 wides to the left and Peterman to throw. Flush left. Across his body, heaves incomplete. And it'll be 4th down. Dantes Ford, the intended target. And after the deep pass, Northwestern's D holds.
As good a series as you could have asked for to start this game if you're Northwestern. You mentioned a top 10 scoring offense in the FBS, 26th ranked rush offense, and they're being able to corral them with some help from that mismanaged handoff there at the beginning of this drive.
This will be a 46-yard attempt for Blewett. He does have the leg for distance like this. Snap is low, spot down, kick with plenty of distance, and it booms through for Chris Blewett. Pittsburgh on the board first, a 3-0 lead on the 46-yard field goal by Blewett. And Pitt strikes early and celebrates afterwards. Season at the helm, and both of these head coaches, 2 of the more positive people you will ever be around.
As honest and forthright of guys that you can have at the helm of your college football team, and both extremely loyal. They talk so passionately about the schools they're proud to represent.
Solomon Vault drifts into the end zone and will take a knee for the touchback. As Northwestern's offense looks to go back to work after a 3-and-out to begin this game.
Well, let's see if we keep talking. Obviously, a lot about James Conner deserves the talk, but for Northwestern, Justin Jackson in 1,300 yards rushing. Let's see if they want to get him established in the running game. We know we talked about Austin Carr on the opening, getting the ball out to him, but they would love to establish that running game as they come out into an empty backfield and just disregard what I want to say.
They don't have the broadcast piped into the helmets yet, but we're working on that technology. Thorson, quick drop, under pressure, evades it, has space, bounces it out. Slips a tackle, still motoring, still fighting, and eventually pushed out of bounds with his sideline fired up after a gain of 9. And as an offensive lineman, Junior, I bet you like seeing the fight from your quarterback like that.
Those are the type of plays, and at this point in the season, they know who their guy is, but just seeing that at the beginning of this game lets you know what you're in store for right there. A heck of a run by the big fella, Clayton Thorson.
Thorson had a very strong sophomore year. Great improvement from his freshman year. Over the middle, has a target. It's Dickerson on the catch with the first down at the 40.
And what I'm seeing as this hurry-up offense goes is these passes are going to have to get out pretty quick, because even though that was a nice run the play before and a quick pass there, pressure is coming quick onto the quarterback here, and he's going to have to get rid of the ball quickly. That O-line has got to be more stout up front.
Motion here. Option and the pitch. Shaking a tackle in the backfield and then pounded to the ground is Jelani Roberts. After a loss of 1, it'll be 2nd and 11.
Juan Price there tracking the football down, the subject of the option. He's a guy they want to throw a lot of different looks at today. He got cut earlier on one of those short passes. This time, getting that option look in the front side. They're doing anything to get him out of sorts. They're dynamic playmaker on the end.
Had 12 sacks this season. John Moten in the game. He'll get the carry. Top end speed has been coming on of late, but no real room there. And it'll be 3rd and long as Galambos comes up with his 3rd tackle of the game.
Galambos is your quintessential middle linebacker, 6'2", 245. He's all over the place. They're very downhill. These linebackers are very downhill type linebackers, breaking toward the line of scrimmage. He's as tough as they come.
3rd and 8 for Northwestern. From the 42. Thorson takes a low snap, immediately under pressure, and has to dump it away. It'll be 4th down. So Shakir Soto on the pressure.
But the minute you think that you know where he is, Juan Price, now your stand-up move around. We used to call him the jack when you're trying to identify your defensive front right there. just giving them enough of a different look helps get the rest of his buddies loose there and force a 4th down punt.
Quadri Henderson and Avante Maddox back to receive for Pitt. Hunter Nicewander will send away his 2nd punt of the game. Nearly as it blocked. And a fair catch called for and made by Henderson. And that's where the Pitt offense will take over. We'll learn a little more about the inspirational James Conner when we return here from Yankee Stadium. James Conner has inspired so many people battling cancer. Our Holly Rowe, one of them, who was with Conner at the Home Depot College Football Awards show alongside Shelley Smith, and that was one of the more poignant moments of this college football season. Conner back in there now for Pitt, leading 3-0 on a 1st and 10. He will get the handoff, trying to find room off the right side, and gains about 3 before Brett Walsh and Joseph Jones get to him.
You know, Mike, talking to him last night, Conner, I mean, just the fight he had, and then a realization of other people that he was inspiring, and how that turned and worked for him to help him get through what he was going through and inspire those others.
He said it changed him as a leader, certainly on the field, but also off the field, recognizing that he can be that source of strength for so many.
Anderson on the fly sweep motion went by as Conner trying to slip a tackle, bounced out of bounds near the 30. Joseph Jones on the tackle, gain of 3. Well, Conner talked with so many different people throughout this battle and this journey, and one of the interesting names he brought up, who he said he really connected with, was Eric Berry.
Yeah,
safety for the Chiefs, who also has battled and beaten Hodgkin's lymphoma. And Conner said that he connected with him right away and was able to stay in touch with him throughout this process. As Pitt faces a 3rd and 3, they're 0 for 1 on 3rd down thus far today. Peterman, quick drop, zings it over the middle, and it's intercepted, deflected and picked. There is a flag down though, and it looked like the receiver Leah was being tugged at.
Yeah, he was.
As he attempted to grab it.
I think it was Montre Hardage, I believe, number 24 for Northwestern, with the grab.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 24, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Boy, those
nailed it, goal.
Yeah, those are one of those plays. Boy, what cost you? What you had a turnover to now. The drive keeps going for Pittsburgh because of it. Just had him, grabbed him a little long, had the arm extended. The ref sees that, he's going to make that call.
And you could see Hardage pointing to himself right away, saying, that one's on me, not contesting the call, knew what was on him. Asta goes in motion on a 1st and 10 for Pitt. They give the handoff to Conner, trying to work it left, and he is swooped to the ground by Joseph Jones, a loss of 5 on the play.
You know, the one thing in talking with Northwestern and how you defense against, Mike, as you called, all this movement from what Pittsburgh likes to do is just play your space, play your area, don't get involved in all their movement. You know you're going to see jet sweeps and wide plays. Just do your responsibility. Don't try and do too much. Stay in good fundamental position. That's exactly what Northwestern did there for the loss.
And as a result, they've held Pitt to -9 yards on the ground thus far in the early going. Peterman, play action. Dancing, firing, complete on the far sideline at the 40. Dantes Ford came back to make it. Ends up pushed out of bounds at a 43-yard line, a gain of 8.
You see this Pitt group up front managing to keep their quarterback clean, and that's with the help of James Conner right there. Not just a capable runner, also worked a ton on pass protection right now. This group up front has kept him clean for the large portion of the year. Just 9 sacks given up for this Pitt offensive line.
That's really amazing.
3rd in the nation.
And talking to Coach Pat Narduzzi, a few of those were just instances where you've got your quarterback trying to make the right play, stay in bounds late in the game to keep the clock going. So it could have been even fewer. I'd like to point that out for my
I know you would. It's a former old lineman. Do you think we're going to get you got to be so happy between college and the NFL? It's like the year of the old line. It's like they're not the big uglies now. They're the big sexies for how everybody's talking about the offensive line.
It really warms my heart. It's the year of the big man.
We have O-line and D-line represented in the Golick family here in this booth. 3rd and 7 for Pitt. Peterman with time over the middle, has a man. First down inside the 45. It's Scott Orndorff, his tight end.
Tight end on a linebacker, Nate Hall, number 32. And again, here you have the Peterman with time. He's got time right in the pocket. Just a little bit of late pressure. Orndorff gets a little bit of space on Hall, the linebacker, puts the ball right there as we have another Northwestern player down.
Joseph Jones is the injured member of Northwestern. Good news for Northwestern was that Kyle Cairo, who went down early, did come back into the game. But Jones now down and being attended to, as you see Cairo, by the Northwestern medical staff, and he will be helped off to the Northwestern sideline.
And they certainly have gone through their injuries, especially in the secondary this year. So they knew going into this, especially maybe the corners would get picked on a little bit because of guys that have had to step in.
Yeah, they've had 16 players go on IR throughout this season. Northwestern got off to a tough start, 1-3, but picked themselves up and ended up bowl eligible and here at the Pinstripe Bowl in the Bronx. With Pat Fitzgerald actually having his team come in a day early so that they could enjoy the city, because he wanted them to experience all those aspects of New York City during the holidays and the pomp and circumstance that comes with this bowl game, which both coaches really loved. Thought it was a first-class experience throughout the week. On a 1st and 10, Peterman. Deep drop. Now rolling left. Across his body. Completes it. Inside the 20 to Aaron Matthews.
Aaron Matthews came all the way from the other side of the field following his quarterback as he rolled out. And Peterman had plenty of time to decide what he wanted to do with the ball. His wide receiver did a great job of following him as he rolled out.
Quickly to the line, James Conner burrows forward for 5. Well, sometimes it's hurry up and wait, and sometimes it's hurry up and go for this Pitt offense.
Yeah, that's the bit of the change you'll see. And talking to their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, he said these shifts, these motions, all of the different action that you'll see sort of helps them replicate a no-huddle offense while still allowing them to huddle. It gives you some of that pace and gets the defense off balance with some of the movement like you're seeing right now.
Darren Hall in, trying to squirm his way left, slips a couple tackles, still fighting, and take it down just outside the 5-yard line. Anthony Walker on the tackle.
Very interesting there is Adam Boznavati, the left tackle went over to the right side. It was actually unbalanced to the right. So as a defense, I know as a former defensive player, I think they're going to run to that strength. Where do they run? They run to the weak side of that offensive line where they only have a guard and a tight end, and they pick up good yardage.
That's a credit to their tight end, Scott Orndorff, right there. Second on the team in catches, but also being able to lead at the point of the tack right there, basically simulating the tackle spot.
Pitt, an outstanding red zone offense. 9th play of the drive.
There he is! The O-tackle!
Brian O'Neill tosses incomplete. His second passing attempt of the season. Matt Canada said we might see that at some point in this game, and Brian O'Neill gets his chance.
There you go, Mike, your old lineman.
Brian O'Neill having to be just devastated on this one, and Northwestern's unfortunately seen this once or twice. O'Neill, your 2016 Heisman Trophy winner for offensive or defensive lineman, doing very unlineman things. He's got 2 touchdowns on the year, 1 receiving on a screen, the other on an end around, and tried to add to it with a pair of pass attempts, unfortunately to no avail.
2nd and goal now for Pitt. James Conner back in the game. He'll get the handoff, fighting up the middle, and taken down at around the 3 by Brett Walsh, and it will be 3rd and goal.
But was smart, Mike, out of him as he threw the ball away. He didn't try and do too much with it, so he had the smarts at the, 6'6", 300 pounds to throw the ball away like a quarterback.
He's the former tight end out there, so he's got the athleticism, but you're right, the decision-making, he had a pass attempt earlier in the year as well, where he did the same thing, understanding the situation. There's only someone on the offensive side of the ball.
3rd and goal. Peterman under center. Will give to Aston, running left and flopping just short of the end zone. He had nothing but open space, but lost his footing.
Wow.
And is just shy of the end zone.
Well, let's see when his knee hits where the ball is. He does. He was in easily, and you see that knee down right there. Good call, and he's not over the goal line. Let me tell you, he's going to be sick. He had an easy touchdown coming. Did the redshirt sophomore. Now, we're getting a different angle. When his knee was down, was it across that line? I was blocked by the official a little bit. See if they go for a replay or not.
As of now, no review.
Yeah, here it comes. All right, let's see what kind of views we have.
On the field, runner was short of the goal line. Previous play is now under further review.
This is always fun now, trying to guess if he was in or not.
And you look at the guy, the subject of the play right here, George Aston. We talked a lot about Austin Carr on the other side, the walk-on wide receiver for Northwestern. George Aston actually a walk-on at fullback for Pitt here, and third on the team in total touchdowns with 9 this year. So usually a guy in these goal-to-go situations that's got that nose for the end zone.
I don't think he was in. I mean, it's tough to tell on some of these where we're getting blocked out a little bit by the official's arm, and even that first replay, I don't know if those are the looks that they have up in the booth. I don't think they're going to be able to overturn this. I don't think there's enough information. I think that call on the field is going to stand. I love guessing because if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter.
No, we won't hold you accountable here.
I will.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, the Golics are keeping score up here.
I know you are.
This is my first shot.
Ryan Rucco with Mike Golic Jr. and Sr. Paul Carcaterra on the sideline for us today. Appreciate you being with us on this Wednesday afternoon. Hope you're having an enjoyable holiday season.
You know, we've now seen on the jet sweep, we've now seen, obviously the guy who usually gets it, Quadre Henderson, get the ball in the jet sweep. We've seen Connor get it on the jet sweep, and now we've seen the fullback Aston get it on the jet sweep. So equal opportunity on that jet sweep.
Would be a 4th and goal, and I believe this is going to be confirmed as called on the field.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The 4th and goal.
All right, so we've seen Pitt is going to leave the offense on the field here.
Mike, any credit to me for getting that call right?
I have nothing nice to say, so I will not say anything.
All right, there you have it.
Big play early in this game on a 4th and goal for Pitt. There's that motion and shifting. Peterman will give to Connor. Up over the pile. Is he in? He is not. Wow. James Connor stopped by Anthony Walker short of the goal line.
Boy, I tell you, Pitt Mike went right over their 2 big linemen, Johnson and Bisnavati. Went right after him, but a great job by Northwestern. As Connor tried to take off, great penetration, great tackling.
Well, you see Anthony Walker coming from the backside, working through some of those bodies there, coming from the offensive line and finding a way to get him from behind there, track him down, and ultimately keep a strong runner that we know in James Connor out of the end zone.
What a monster play.
Huge shift in momentum there as Northwestern comes up with a stop, thwarting a 12-play, 76-yard drive. James Connor stopped just shy of the goal line. Wildcats take over, and Pat Fitzgerald fired up. Well, both coaches and the team captains helped ring the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange yesterday. One of the really cool experiences that goes along with the Pinstripe Bowl week at Northwestern and Pitt were involved in as the Wildcats take over inside their own 1 and a QB keeper as we take a look back at that goal line stand on 4th and goal.
We've talked and heard these Northwestern coaches talk about the D linemen being the unsung heroes here. This time, all of these guys stopping up the action up front for them, giving Anthony Walker that opening on the backside to make the play on James Connor and stop the touchdown.
It's always the big guys up front clearing it for those linebackers to get the glory. Nice play by Walker, really, really was.
2nd and 9 for Northwestern. Thorson will give to Jackson. Big hole up the middle. Justin Jackson with daylight. Being pursued. Can he fend off? Inside the 30. Jackson finally run down by Felipe Motley. A gain of 68 for Justin Jackson.
Nothing fancy in here, a little trap. Tremper pulling guard didn't really have to hit anybody. The middle just absolutely opened up.
That's the danger of that defensive front moving around and gap shifting right there.
It's Jackson again. This time he'll get 2. Galambos on the tackle.
As we talked early on, what that D-line likes to do is they like to angle, they like to slant and keep going, and they're told just keep going, just stay on your track. Juan Price, everything defensive end, admittedly loves to take chances, sometimes come underneath blocks, sometimes not do his responsibility knowing he can make up for it on the other end, but that can create big creases like we saw in the middle there with that defensive line.
Like Pitt might have jumped. Screen pass deflected by Price. Incomplete. No flag down. And it will be 3rd and 9. Justin Jackson, meanwhile, the first ever Northwestern player with 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Senior mentioned it before. As much shine as James Conner's production has been given in the backfield for Pittsburgh, Justin Jackson, an excellent back in his own right.
He's a guy that really looking forward to getting back next year, and who's worked just as hard this offseason on his role in the passing game as well that I'm sure we'll see coming up in this game.
A 3rd and 9 for Northwestern. Running the option with Jackson. Jackson has the first down. A gain of 10. Reggie Mitchell finally got him.
Absolutely great block. We haven't called Austin Carr's name catching the ball, but they're blocking from the slot. He blocked on Teresh Webb, did a great job, and that's right where the run came. Just an excellent time as we have a Pitt player down.
Teresh Webb, the injured Pitt Panther.
See, a great job. It'll be out on the outside. Let's start the play, and then we'll stop it. Start the play, and you see the play going left. And then if we can stop it, keep going right here. Stop it there. That's Jackson. He cut his guy who's over here and made that clear path through for Jackson to make that run. Great job blocking downfield to see that. And that's the Pitt player that ended up being hurt. Austin Carr with the cut on him from the slot position really opened that up.
Teresh Webb being attended to by the Pitt medical personnel.
And in talking to the coaches, that was a matchup that Pittsburgh was worried about a bit with Carr in the slot from the passing game of Webb having to cover Carr in the passing game. Here, it was the run blocking that ended up getting to Webb, and a nice job by Carr opening that up.
Jackson now with 82 yards on 4 carries as Northwestern has traveled from inside the 1 to inside the 20. A 1st and 10, a 5-play, 80-yard drive thus far. Thorson gives again to Jackson. Storms forward inside the 15 as we check in on the sideline with Paul.
You see the endurance of Justin Jackson after that 60-plus yard run. He hasn't left the field, and Mick McCall, the offensive coordinator, told us this week he is now a complete back. His change of direction, we're seeing it, gentlemen, here today. He said it's just as quick side to side as straight ahead speed. This guy's a beast.
This time pushing the pile with power. Thank you, Paul, and getting near the 10-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll set up 3rd and 1 for Northwestern.
And there's nothing cute about what's going on right now. We've talked about both of these teams really doing a lot to do very little, and in this case it's just lining up, running a couple of inside zone plays back to back and letting their offensive line go up here and lean on a Pitt defensive front that can stop the run.
Thorson with Carr in motion on a 3rd and 1, gives to Jackson, plowing ahead, and he is going to be stopped shy. Just got back to the line of scrimmage. Juan Price on the tackle, and now decision time for Northwestern on a 4th and 1 at the 10. Which way do you lean here, Junior?
Listen, we know Pat Fitzgerald likes to be aggressive. He's gone for it on 4th down 26 times already this year. He made it very clear that he's going to keep up with that mindset.
And if he wants to, he can wait till this quarter ends to make that decision.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Give him a little more time to think about it, but yeah, as Mike said, for Pat Fitzgerald, he doesn't think a whole lot in these situations. You would think you maybe grab the points, tie this game up, but he is without a doubt a go-for-it guy.
Well, a big decision coming on a 4th and 1 at the 10-yard line where the second quarter begins. After 1, It's Pitt 3 and Northwestern nothing from Yankee Stadium in the South Bronx, New York. Start of the second quarter at the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Northwestern facing a 4th and 1 at the Pitt 10-yard line, and they are sending the offense on the field. Senior, you okay with this decision?
I mean, listen, that's Pat Fitzgerald, so yes, I am. That's his MO, so I have absolutely no problem with that. Justin
Jackson, the back. He has run Northwestern here from inside their own 1 after a goal line stand thwarted James Conner in Pittsburgh. The only points thus far coming on a 46-yard Chris Blewett field goal. Thorson under center. Motion from Dickerson. He'll keep it himself. Proud forward and has the first down. As Clayton Thorson picks up plenty, it'll be 1st and goal.
You talking, Mike, that the coach is in the break you old lineman? Are you telling the coach you want to go for it? Is that what's happening?
Well, absolutely, especially once you see the tone set by Pitt on the other side. The 4th down goal line stand for your defense right there. You want every bit of this action. You've been setting its tone this entire drive. Give us a chance to finish it is all this group wants.
91 yards on the ground this drive, so that is indeed the tone being set. 1st and goal. Jackson moving left with space. He's in. Justin Jackson to the score. A 10-play, 99-yard drive that ends with an 8-yard Jackson Gallop.
At 5'11", 193, he is certainly more speed than power, and he got that corner, and he took that speed, beating Avante Maddox, who got outflanked. Takes it right to the pylon.
So the decision to go for it pays off for Pat Fitzgerald and Northwestern, as Jack Mitchell's kick is good, and Northwestern takes a 7-3 second quarter lead over number 23 Pitt.
Justin Jackson, their workhorse, excuse me there. This is a guy who this year 266 carries, about 60 shy of his number from last year. In 3 years, almost near 1,000 carries for him. He's 2nd in program history coming into this game with 3,905 rushing yards. He has no problem. He relishes that role. He wants the ball as much as they're willing to give it to him. He feels that when he gets into that 15, 20 carry range in a game, he really gets into a great rhythm and has a feel for what he's seeing from the defense.
Well, Northwestern on the board. I know that's going to make Joe Girardi happy, a Northwestern alum who's with Paul Carcaterra.
Indeed, Ryan. Joe Girardi, 3-time All-Big Ten catcher for the Wildcats. We talked last year at the Pinstripe Bowl. You were here as a football fan, but what is this like for you and your family now that Northwestern is in this ball game at your park?
Well, it definitely changed our vacation plans, I can tell you that. We opted to stay here instead of go warm weather, and we're just proud of what Northwestern stands for, the job that Pat Fitzgerald has done with this team after a slow start, and to be in this game playing against Pitt, who beat 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, and we're winning 7-3, so we're excited.
I read somewhere that you stated your son Dante, if he was to play football, you'd want him to play for Pat Fitzgerald. Why?
Well, because Pat's a class act, and he understands really what it means to be a student athlete, because he did it at Northwestern at a very high level, an All-American that played in the NFL with the Cowboys, so he really gets it.
One of these days, if you ever retired as a skipper of the Yankees and Fitzgerald called you to be on their staff, what position would you want to coach in football?
Well, I'd be in charge of getting the T's off the field. Football's become so complicated, I wouldn't want to be in charge of any X's and O's. I'd run and get the T off the field.
This spring, what excites you most about the Yankees?
Well, the young players that we have coming through our pipeline, and there's a lot more coming, and you look at a kid like Gary Sanchez, what he did last year, some of the big home runs that some of our other young players had, like a Tyler Austin. You also have a kid like Gleyber Torres, who I think just turned 20, 21 years old, MVP of the Fall League. We have some good young players.
We're excited. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks.
Well, a flea flicker that gets Quadri Henderson into space. Joe Girardi's not going to like seeing that, as Pitt gets all the way down near the 30. Montre Hartage and Igwebuike on the stop.
We talk about them using all that to get to James Conner. Well, they give it to James Conner. He decides to give it back to Peterman. and you have Henderson streaking down the sideline.
And now a quick handoff to Connor, who slices his way inside the 10, as Pitt, just like that in 2 plays, threatening to go in and retake the lead.
And they're hurrying. They're right up on the line. Up tempo.
First and goal. Connor tries the middle and taken down at the 5. A gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and goal. The pass to Henderson that set this up, a 37-yard gain. And a nice run by Connor. 2nd and goal for Pitt. Northwestern's D with a goal line stand. Last time out. And whistles and a flag. And this will go against Pitt.
So 2 big plays, as you mentioned, for Pitt.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 83, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So now the onus back on this Northwestern defense, as you mentioned. Ryan had the big goal line stand, and now if you can hold Pittsburgh to a field goal attempt, you have won. After giving up a lot of yards to get them down there, that's their goal right now.
They push Pitt outside the 10 after the 5-yard penalty. Henderson is split out left. Peterman, play action. The lob, intercepted by Igwebuike. He's taken down outside the 15-yard line. Godwin Igwebuike with a huge pick. And Northwestern yet again comes up with a stand near the goal line. Peterman tossed it right to Godwin Igwebuike, stepping in front of the receiver, returns it for 13 yards, and the Wildcats D continues to come up with big plays. Well, the Godwin Igwebuike interception thwarts another chance for Pitt, and Northwestern takes over with a deep pass from Thorson, just out of the reach of his intended target as we look back at the interception from a moment ago.
Well, just a great job of reading. We have man coverage here, and there's going to be man coverage here, but the tight end stays in the block. So Igwebuike just floats along following the quarterback and ends up being a free man. And on the inside release by Wheaton down low, he's able to cut right in front and make an easy interception.
Hand off to Jackson, now well over 100 yards as he is shifty across the 30, and a first down for Northwestern.
Shifty, the word that everyone's used to describe Jackson's running style right there, putting his foot in the ground on a big cutback for a huge gain.
He has 116 yards on just 9 carries, his 20th 100-yard game of his career. Got the wrong one. Matt Galambos on the stop. Pitt and Northwestern meeting for the 7th time in their school's histories. Their last meeting back in September of 1973. A 21-14 Pitt win. Tony Dorsett rushed for 265 yards in that game. John Moten in now. Play action under pressure. Thorson wrapped around and taken down by Juan Price.
Nothing fancy about this one, guys. Juan Price, too much speed coming off that right edge right there. Gives him the little inside-out move right there. Avoids the running back coming up through the hole there. And gets a great sack and a much-needed big play for this Pitt defense.
Just set up Eric Olson by stepping inside, and Olson just can't stay with the speed. Did that arm over to the outside, and you know, same dance, just different game for him.
3rd and 18 after a loss of 10. Jackson back in for Northwestern. Thorson, the DP, has a man, and a first down. Flynn Nagel out across the 45.
Excellent throw, excellent time in the pocket for Thorson. We've seen him get pressure. Here he has all day to stand in the pocket. Excellent route by Nagel. Man, he just dropped it in the bucket.
1st and 10 now. As both will gain a couple. Well, Clayton Thorson, one of the things we heard all week, guys, from the coaches was he has improved his footwork so much this year. Always has his feet going in the right direction to where he wants to throw the football.
Yeah, that was the biggest point offensive coordinator Mick McCall kept bringing up. We talk about development of just a sophomore, now the best season yards-wise for a Northwestern sophomore quarterback in school history, but still tons of areas to improve.
Moten remains in, Jackson out. It's Moten with space and speed, but just tripped up by Galambos. Otherwise, that was going to get interesting for the Pitt secondary, a gain of 6.
Well, what a credit to this Northwestern offense first and their defense for Pitt to only have 3 points on the board is somewhat amazing at this point for what they've been able to do. And now this Northwestern offense controlling the ball, especially on the ground.
Already 118 yards rushing today, nearing their average per game on the season. Jackson back in. Here's Dickerson. The big superman muscles his way to another Northwestern first down, a gain of 7.
Garrett Dickerson's a guy you'll see everywhere lined up in the field for them, on the line of scrimmage, hipped on the line of scrimmage, and even there in the backfield. He's been a great blocker for them, an honorable mention all Big Ten player, but also second among Big Ten tight ends in receiving touchdowns. So a guy that certainly can find his way to the end zone.
He was a player who defensive coordinator for Pitt, Josh Conklin, brought up as a concern. As Thorson will keep it. Motoring. Another Wildcat first down.
Like the confidence level of this Northwestern offense, especially that line, has to be through the roof right now.
You talked about the footwork. There's some footwork in the run game right there for a quarterback who's probably an underrated athlete. The guy in Clayton Thorson right there, and just helped Justin Jackson that much more in the run game.
Jackson. Gain of a few. You know, off the top of the show, we talked about how prolific the Pitt offense has been. 175 points over their last 3 games. So far, as Senior was just pointing out, 3. We also talked about Austin Carr and what a big part he is in the Northwestern offense, but he does not have a catch yet here the Wildcats are moving the ball again. Thorson, far side, caught. Wilson, first down. Macon Wilson with a gain of 10 as the Wildcats keep charging forward, and there is a Panther down around the 12-yard line. And it looks like it's Sean Idowu.
And Northwestern was looking to get to the line quick again. Pittsburgh was trying to rotate in some more defensive linemen. You know, they're probably starting to feel it a little bit now as Northwestern is feeling their own oats and moving the ball at the tempo they are.
Take a look at that catch by Macon Wilson and the injury at the end of it for Idowu.
See him coming in from your right. Can't really tell.
Maybe lands a bit awkwardly on that shoulder, but not too much else to see there.
11 plays, 68-yard drive, still in motion for Northwestern. Jackson is the back. Thorson look towards the sideline. We'll give to Jackson. Nothing there.
Pitt's got to regroup a little bit here. They've been giving up quite a few yards. Been getting run on, been getting thrown on. This is a good place to make a stand here, right in the area where Fitzgerald would think about it going if they get to a 4th down.
See how different the last 2 drives have been for Northwestern compared to their first 2. This is a Pitt team that beat 2 of the top 5 teams in the country this season. Heard Joe Girardi point that out. He did his research before today's action. 2nd and 12. Thorson to the end zone. Intercepted at the goal line. Avonte Maddox with a big pick right when Pitt needed it.
This is a guy that came up big for them with an interception versus Clemson earlier in the season. Here, a timely pick at a moment where the Pitt defense probably needed it more than ever.
Momentum in Northwestern's hands, taken away by the arms of Avonte Maddox. Pitt ball when we get back. Team spent time visiting with some of the children at Memorial Sloan Kettering's Pediatric Hospital. Spent an hour and a half at the hospital visiting with families and children, played video games. They had the coloring books out, all kinds of fun activities. And so not all football, a lot of giving as well. And there are some great stories of that with both of these schools. It's James Conner, certainly the picture of that. The backfield here for Pitt after the interception is Aston takes the screen and gets nudged out of bounds at the 26. A flag down at the 23. Kyle Cairo on the tackle.
Holding. Offense. Number 10. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Ryan, you make a great point about the players going out. I know I went through this in bowl games. Mike, you did as well when you went to bowl games, is going to visit hospitals and different things to go to. It really opens a lot of players' eyes as we check out the holding there and what's bringing it back for Pitt. But so important for players to get out into those avenues and see the different things outside of football.
Had that opportunity this week. Spending a few days in New York. Nice jump cut there by Connor. Able to gain 2 and evade Tyler Lancaster.
Tyler Lancaster, a guy in this Northwestern D-line they talk about as a future NFL-type player, a huge body, a guy who really loves it. Cam McDaniel had a great smiling picture while being tackled for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Well, they said Tyler Lancaster out there fighting double teams. You see him always wearing that big grin out there. He really relishes contact out there in the field, getting plenty of it today.
Peterman rolling, hitting. At the 23, Aaron Matthews cut down. Gain of 11, and it'll be 3rd down at about 7.
True freshman Matthews on the crossing route there, getting that time in.
He has a couple of catches today after having just 4 all season.
Did have 3 starts this year as a true freshman, as you mentioned, but just 4 catches. So I'm sure a guy they have big plans for.
Matt Canada said he wanted to get him a couple of looks today. Their offensive coordinator so far has. 3rd down. Peterman all day. Beautiful spiral, but incomplete. Beyond Weah, who had 2 defenders near him anyway.
We got held up a little bit, and I don't mean illegally. It held up, though, on the route. He wasn't able to run the timing of it to where Peterman was throwing the ball. That was throwing it to a spot, and we couldn't get to that spot.
Flynn Nagel gets ready to receive the punt as the Northwestern D holds after the Avonte Maddox interception. Ryan Winslow to punt it away. Nagel have some room to run. Flag is down as Nagel tumbles across the 45. Flag is back at the 20 near the site of the kick. A 40-yard punt with an 8-yard return. And there's another
couple of Pitt players
player down,
out.
yeah.
Holding. Receiving team, number 84. Penalty enforced at the end of the kick. First down.
So Darren Hall down and being attended to as we step aside. 2nd quarter action of the 2016 New Era Pinstripe Bowl.
First take.
Justin Jackson.
He has been sensational. Already over 100 yards for the day. We came in talking a lot about James Conner, and rightly so. Justin Jackson picking up where he left off. Their regular season finale against Illinois, 173 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 42-21 win to get them bowl eligible. Now that they're here, he's going to keep the party going.
121 yards on those 13 carries, has a score. The only touchdown of the game thus far is Dickerson trying to evade the tackle at his jersey tugged at and pulled down by Dennis Briggs after a gain of 7. But this Pitt offense that came into the game having scored 175 points over their last 3 contests, has been held to 3 thus far by the Northwestern D. Jackson. It'll be 3rd down. And we saw Joe Girardi talking with Paul Carcaterra earlier, and Pat Fitzgerald said he gets a text message from the Yankees manager before every single game encouraging him, every week.
I'm sort of envisioning Girardi running out and picking up the team.
He said that's going to be his job. Here's a 3rd down for Northwestern. Thorson. Ball is juggled and caught, hung on to by Andrew Scanlon with 1st down yardage.
Andrew Scanlon, a big vocal leader for this team right here. They call him the Bull. His teammates do. He's their pregame speech artist right there. A guy with only 1 catch for 5 yards last year, making up big time this year.
1st down. As Jackson gains a few, and we check in with Paul.
Well, Ryan, before the defense took the field from Pitt, Pat Narduzzi's message and the whole defensive staff, pressure, pressure, pressure. And if you look pre-Narduzzi, they were 102nd in the nation in sacks. This year, 9th in the nation with 39 total. The one thing, though, Mike Jr. and Mike Sr. puts a lot of pressure on these corners one-on-one for Thorson.
Like here, as Carr nearly makes an acrobatic catch, leaping out of bounds, could not haul it in as Reggie Mitchell was there in coverage.
That's just the 2nd target for Austin Carr on the day so far. The first one coming up with the interception for Pitt right there. Northwestern's been great with Jackson on the ground and established that. If they really want to run away with this one, expect them to get Carr more involved.
Carr, a Bolitnikoff finalist, 1st team All-Big Ten receiver. 3rd and 7. Northwestern 4 for 7 on 3rd downs today. Thorson. EP has a man. It's Wilson at the 30-yard line with a huge gain and a Wildcats 1st down.
Blown coverage there. Again, time, that's been the key. It's been great pressure by Pitt early on, but as of late, Northwestern's done a great job of protecting Thorson, who made a bad throw on the interception and overthrow right before, but hits a wide open Wilson on that play.
1st and 10, Thorson will find Carr, slips a tackle, and gets to the 15, and Austin Carr is finally on the board in the 2016 New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Gain of 12, and Northwestern right back to the line.
Oh, it almost only took almost a half.
Yeah. This time it's Jackson with room. Jackson to the 5. Jackson kept his footing and is in. Oh, what an acrobatic touchdown from Justin Jackson.
Both his touchdowns, again, at 5'11", 193, the speedster, both touchdowns got to the outside. Great job keeping his balance, hand on the ground only. You can put your hand down, makes that spin, and then crosses the goal line. Great balance. That's a touchdown.
What a finish to the run from Justin Jackson. A 16-yard touchdown run. And it has given Northwestern a 10-point lead with an extra point coming. Jack Mitchell is on for the extra point. His kick is good. An 8-play, 74-yard drive that took just 2 minutes and 35 seconds, and Justin Jackson continues to sizzle here at Yankee Stadium, fighting until he gets to the painted grass and gives the Wildcats an 11-point lead. The Northwestern Wildcats at Yankee Stadium, bringing the rock catch routine from Radio City to the sidelines here in the Bronx. That's the way you celebrate a 14-3 first half lead over the Pitt Panthers. I'm not going to ask you guys to
Listen,
duplicate that in the booth.
I'm not going to lie. We both have moves.
I wouldn't be shocked about Junior. Senior,
well, okay.
A little skeptical. Ryan Rucco with Mike Golick Jr. and Senior. As you see, Northwestern squib it, but it makes its way to the dangerous Quadri Henderson. And Henderson gets taken down from behind just across the 30. That's where Pitt will set up shop. Nate Hall on the tackle. As we take a look back at the Justin Jackson touchdown.
We're looking back at the Justin Jackson touchdown. Look at Allen Edwards at the defensive end spot right here. Coming up for the play is going to step inside on the snap right now. And then you have Mike Caprera, the linebacker, filling in that hole inside, both occupying essentially the same gap space. Makes it easy for Justin Jackson to come right to inside there and then jet outside for the easy touchdown.
We talked about that earlier. They love to slant up front, sometimes slanting themselves right out of the play. Nobody had outside contain.
14-3 Northwestern Reed. Peterman, deep toss, has a man on the move. It's Rhea, and he is gone. No flags. 69 yards. Peterman to Weah, who beat Montre Hordage.
Wow. Well, we had 9 touchdowns on the year, second in the FBS, averaging over 23 yards a catch, and that just helped his average out pretty well.
And just like that, Pitt strikes back. Chris Blewett on for the extra point. Bangs it through, and it's a 14-10 game.
See that stutter step right to the inside, kind of turns around the cornerback, and once that cornerback turns his back to the quarterback, you're in catch-up mode the whole time.
Big body there, 6'3", 210, able to shake off that tackle and then bring it on home right there. Your team leader in catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. We see why all in one play right there is a great answer for Pitt coming off what's been a dominant performance from Justin Jackson.
And what a changer that is momentum-wise. I mean, Northwestern's been controlling this game, controlling the ball, controlling everything, and then in one play, Pitt, a team that's used to scoring a lot of points, puts themselves right back in the ball game.
I said we actually heard in the game against Syracuse, Pat Narduzzi had to tell his offensive coordinator to stop scoring so fast.
That's right. En route to 76 points.
I bet he'd like him to score a little faster right now.
Yeah,
though.
he'll take the quick score this time. And we've seen Pitt come up with some big plays today, but Northwestern has had a couple of huge stops at the goal line. And this time, Weah did it himself on the delivery from Nathan Peterman. So Solomon Vaught and Flynn Nagel back deep to receive the kick from Chris Blewett. And it will be Vaught juggling, retrieves at the 8. Follows a block, and that gets cut down into 20.
So that changed the momentum. Interesting to see what Northwestern does here. As you got 2:44 to go in the half, the kind of drive they're going to try and put together. Pitt, obviously, on that momentum, had to be really sending the message on the sideline. Get that 3 and out right now and give us another chance to score before halftime.
Well, Northwestern has worked hard to come up with their 2 scores. Long drives, moving it on the ground. Justin Jackson, a huge day, 146 yards on 17 carries. Pitt scores in the blink of an eye as Jackson trying to run left. Gets sandwiched after a gain of a couple. Caprera there on the tackle.
Momentum changed that quickly, Mike?
It's all going to depend on the response you now get from Northwestern. This is a group that's been controlling the ball on the ground the whole day. You saw right there more of that pin and pull action from this group right now, getting Brad North, their center, out there on the edge. They want to get these guys in space and try and create seams.
Each team with all 3 timeouts remaining. Jackson. Gain of 2. It'll be 3rd down. Matt Galambos, who we have talked about a lot today.
40 tackles already?
It feels like it. He had 30 over the last 3 games. Entering today, a real cerebral Mike linebacker.
Here you go, Mike. Just what you said. How does the response happen on this drive? could keep that momentum going for Pitt if they can get a 3-and-out right now.
Pitt firing up their contingent of fans here at Yankee Stadium. A 3rd and 5, and now a timeout. And it will be Pitt who calls it.
Charge timeout of the half, Pittsburgh. 30-second timeout.
Coming up, the Buick halftime report. Reese Davis, Joey Galloway, David Pollock. Fiesta Bowl report. You know, Watson has unfinished business, and then a Peach Bowl report as well. That's coming up on the Buick halftime report. These are the best days to be off from work, right? You just sit home, you flick on ESPN, you watch bowl games all day.
It's the fireworks display at the end of a long college football season. You can basically flip on the TV anytime, find some action right there. I'm sure we've got many friends out in the desert who've been busy this Christmas season, this holiday season, trying to get it all back. So it's been stellar to watch. It's really enjoyable as we now get up to the final act of that, getting ready for the college football playoff games coming up.
I see you pulling a Brent Musburger reference, knowing he was a Northwestern alum. Very nice. Plenty of them at ESPN, including one that Golick Sr. sits next to every morning.
Yeah, sat next to it for 17 years going on that. To hear about his Northwestern Wildcats, very proud of his school, as he should and all of them should be.
Mike Greenberg, of course. Big 3rd and 5 here for Northwestern out of the timeout from Pitt. The Wildcats 5 of 8 on 3rd down so far this afternoon. Thorson to throw. Up in the air a long time and out of bounds, nowhere near the intended target, but there is a flag down at the 50-yard line. And now kicked to the 40. We will check the flag, but it's in that defensive secondary.
Well, that ball was going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
This would be an unbelievable break for Northwestern if they get one in their favor. A lot of discussion here on whether this is going to be a flag or waving it off.
And you could see the initial words from Pat Narduzzi seemed to be something along those lines. That ball was nowhere near the play.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 15. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, they got Reggie Missile with his left hand around the waist of Flynn Nagel in the slot. You'll see Nagel, number 2, in the slot right here. And on the out route, you're going to see he's going to catch him with his left arm right there. That quick, and it's called and a first down for Northwestern.
And a costly one. Would have been a 3-and-out instead. Thorson back to work as he gets hit on the delivery by Shakir Soto, who has been in the face of Clayton Thorson quite a few times today.
Pat Narduzzi preaching pressure that time in the last few plays, choosing to do it with just 4. But Soto and Price on the other side managing to collapse that pocket down and make an uncomfortable environment for Thorson.
Soto put on weight this offseason so he could shift from defensive end to tackle. Second down, here comes pressure from the linebacking core. Flag down in the backfield as the completion is made to Scanlon across midfield, but we will check the flag.
I think that's going to be holding on 72, I believe.
And it looked like he went up in the face of Shakir Soto.
Or it may go the other way.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 52. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
So it was Soto instead, right, who actually was the enactor of the illegal hands to the face.
Just as I suspected, one of you cheating D linemen out there.
Down low at the bottom of your screen gets it right up in the face. Oh, excellent call. Right in the face of Blake Hance.
And that's usually the problem, is not when you place it there, but when you leave it there. And he chose to drive up through that, puts the offensive lineman on his back. We saw Hance shaken up for a moment after that play, and now we see clearly why. And
sometimes the hand doesn't start there. It starts right like on the chest plate, and as you drive, it will drive up. But that one looked to be in the face right at the beginning, and as you're right, left it there plain and easy for the ref to see.
So 1:13 on a running clock left for Northwestern. They have a full complement of timeouts. Thorson, no one there. And threw it out of bounds, and another flag. This one down at the 45. And it might be Soto again.
This one actually may be holding on Northwestern this time.
Holding. Offense. Number 59. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Another instance of Juan Price here getting moved around. Take your defensive end, stand him up in the middle of the order, and get him on an offensive guard. A guy who's not used to pass blocking, someone quite that dynamic. Price gets him with a great spin move there off balance, and his only action to make sure that his quarterback doesn't get killed is to hold on for dear life.
1st and 20 now for Northwestern. 1:05 remaining in the half. Jackson dances his way across the 40. Northwestern, meanwhile, was one of the least penalized teams in the country this season.
Under a minute, but all 3 timeouts, so they can use all the field. So plenty of time to get themselves in field goal range or possibly at a big play in the end zone.
43 seconds on a 2nd and 16. Thorson with time. Lobs one right. Carr at the 31 is out of bounds. It'll stop the clock after a gain of 8, and it will be 3rd down.
Carr lost a shoe. Got to come out. Bad time to have him have to come out right now. Nice throw where only his receiver could get it or nobody's getting it. Just getting that foot in.
Would you spend a timeout to make sure he's on the field on this 3rd down?
Well, they may get a break here.
They may review the catch.
Previous play is now under further review.
Under review. Plenty of time for Carr to get his shoe back on.
It'd be fortunate for Northwestern as long as the catch is upheld.
So we'll just see if that left toe was in.
Northwestern has dominated time of possession in this 1st half. Over 18.5 minutes to under 11 for Pitt.
I'll let you make this call, Mike.
Seems to be.
Oh, he got the right foot looks down.
Seems to have that right foot down. It's just a matter of if he had control of the ball simultaneously. Hard to tell from that angle. This seems to be a better look at it here. Looks like no question. It seems like he got that right foot in bounds with plenty of time to spare. Only 2 catches on the half for Austin Carr right there. So this review ends up being a pretty nice gift for them as long as the call stands as it is on the field. A chance to get him back on the field and see if he can be effective down in an area where he's had 12 touchdowns on the season.
Northwestern will face a 3rd and 8 from the 31-yard line of Pitt, responding after the 69-yard touchdown pass from Nathan Peterman for the Panthers' 1st touchdown of the day.
I mean, the only question here can be if he had control when his right foot went down, which we both think he did. Here's the call.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed a completed catch.
Not that I'm keeping score, Senior, but I believe you're undefeated on.
No, that was Junior's call.
Both of you.
So we each got one.
See, that's a real.
Oh, we are keeping
giving
score.
You the credit, even when I try and deflect it to the wrong place.
Yeah, Brian, I thought I had you on my team over here. Clearly, that's not the case. So, congratulations on affecting the dynamic of the broadcast going forward.
Mike Golick, Jr. and Senior, with myself, Brian Rucco. Paul Carcaterra down on the sideline. 38 for Northwestern from the 31-yard line of Pitt. Jackson gets the screen, and it's going to fall. He's going to pick it up as a live ball as of now. Recovered by Pitt. Matt Galambos picks it up. Now it looked like it was thrown forward.
Well, that's going to be the discussion here.
But if it was backwards, and that's how it was initially ruled, then it is a fumble and Pitt football.
The ruling on the field, we had a backward pass that was recovered by the defense. It'll be 1st down.
Wow. It does look like a backward pass, and then Jackson tries to scoop it up instead of just getting possession and falling on it. This is one of these plays where you have to kind of know what the situation is. You have a couple of timeouts. You see him. He is certainly behind Thorson here, and the throw does go backward. Does go backward. Good call, and then he tries to scoop it instead of falling on it, and that's his downfall. As he scoops it, Galambos comes in and slaps at his arm. Ball stays on the ground. Great heads-up play.
It was a backward pass recovered by the defense. The previous play is now under further review.
Well, they will review this, but it certainly looked like it was backwards and will be confirmed after review. In which case, Northwestern, with a chance to add points before the end of the half, will instead turn it over to Pitt.
Really interesting seeing just if and how this cold weather has affected some of the ball handling today. Justin Jackson, a guy who talked about spending a lot of this offseason on the jugs machine to help out as part of this receiving game here. We'd already seen Flynn Nagel put it on the ground before in the kick return role. Quadra Henderson started off the game.
Stands.
So the ruling stands, second turnover for Northwestern. And this one as they were on the brink of points.
That was a crazy series. Big penalties, from holdings to hand to the face to defensive holding on a route runner to the fumble. It's a wild series.
And with as quickly as Pitt can score, you don't expect them to be conservative here. 28 seconds left and a couple of timeouts to work with. Peterman juggled and caught by the tight end. Orndorff. And a timeout taken quickly by Pitt. That ball was suspended in air for a moment in very dangerous territory with two defenders bearing down.
Great concentration by Orndorff here just to stay with it. But what dangerous territory. You've already seen the ball change hands once in the last couple of exchanges here. Another instance where it could have gone either way.
Connor down here.
Yeah, James Conner is down for Pittsburgh, playing his final college game before he will enter the NFL draft. The inspirational running back for the Pitt Panthers with 32 yards on 8 carries thus far in this game. Mom is in the building, watching her son's final collegiate contest. We asked whether or not it was a decision for him, as he saw other players throughout college football, to sit out knowing he's going to the NFL draft. But he said, no, I want to play. I want to finish what I start. And this is a showcase for me as well.
Just took a shot there right at the end of the play. Can't really tell, if he just got twisted when he got hit. But to your point, Ryan, yeah, he said he was going to play. He said he doesn't have a problem with guys that want to go, but he said he hopes that doesn't become a trend going forward.
And for him, he wanted to show what he can do a little bit more. This time it's Quadra Olison. And Olison takes it to the 45. Pitt quickly to the line, and Peterman will spike it after a gain of 19 with 11 seconds remaining, and the Panthers able to save that final timeout.
This is where some of the backfield depth, depending on what status of James Conner is going forward, comes into play. How about Quadra Olison, a guy with only 103 rushing yards on the season coming into the game today, but last year when James Conner was out, rushed for over 1,000 yards. So this is a guy that's taken a very reduced role, worked all over the field for them, whether as a running back, a halfback, worked on special teams as well, so has found a way and embraced the role, and here getting an opportunity in the bowl game.
And understand what Pitt has. They have 11 seconds to go, but they have one timeout, so they can still use the middle of the field. And again, if you get the first down, the clock does stop, but they do have that timeout, so they have the entire field to use here.
And their kicker blew it. It's already hit from 46. Peterman to the flat. Henderson trying to get out of bounds. He does, right near the 40 with 5 seconds remaining. Trey Williams ran him out. A gain of 6. Now this would be about a 57, 58-yard field goal now for Pitt.
Not sure about that one, Mike. I thought maybe down the field a little more. You had a little more time and, as I said, a timeout. You didn't get enough there to get a field goal attempt. So this one's going to pretty much, unless you have a really quick play, is going to go to the end zone.
3rd and 5. Peterman. This will be the final play of the half. To the end zone. Purple jerseys there, and they knock it down. As the first half comes to a close, Kyle Cairo, Jared McGee there to thwart the Hail Mary attempt. And Northwestern a 14-10 lead over Pitt at the end of one half of play. The Panthers will receive the second half kickoff But the Northwestern defense does a nice job limiting that Pitt offense. And Coach Pat Fitzgerald is with Paul Carcaterra.
Coach, up until about 3 minutes left in that half, you held Pitt out of the end zone. This is a high-powered offense. Where have you been at your best defensively?
Well, we kept it inside and in front. You know, we've given up a couple of double moves, and then obviously we gave up a wheel route. They let the ball get behind us, and we can't allow that to happen.
Justin Jackson, your running back, over 150 yards. What was the plan heading in today with the run game?
Well, just to try to get hats on hats and sustain and finish blocks. He's a great player. He's given us a shot. Obviously, we've had 2 critical turnovers in the scoring zone, or pretty close to the scoring zone, that would have changed it, but so did they. So I guess we're going pitch for pitch here at Yankee Stadium.
Thanks, Coach.
Go Cats.
Well, Pat Fitzgerald dropping analogies on his way to the locker room with his team leading 14-10 at the half. Stay tuned for the Buick Halftime Report with Reese Davis and Stripe Bowl, with the Pitt Panthers receiving the kick and trailing Northwestern 14-10 as we get ready to start the third quarter. Ryan Rucco with you alongside Mike Golick Jr. and Mike Golick Sr. Happy to be with you on this Wednesday afternoon here on ESPN. You know, in that first half, it wasn't the star we expected offensively from Northwestern, but an incredible performance from Justin Jackson. He is the star of this game.
Yeah, we heard from them coming into this game that they wanted to establish the run, and Justin Jackson was going to be a big part of that. But we also knew Pitt had a great rush defense coming into this game. You saw a lot of that pin and pull action from Northwestern. Offensive linemen and tight ends blocking down, getting corners out of front. And what that does against the defense that likes to move around in gaps as much as Pitt does is open up big rush lanes, and you saw Justin Jackson explode.
That's it right there. The big rush lanes for a guy that, you know, a Fitz light, more of a speed guy, gets him in space. He's way more dangerous in space, and that blocking up front has been able to put him there to the tune of 149 yards on 19 carries. He has been the absolute running star here. We've talked a lot about, obviously, Connor before the game. You see just 32 yards on the 8 carries that got nicked up. We'll find out how he's doing. But Jackson really has helped this Northwestern team have 16 more plays. They have 46 offensive plays to 30 for Pitt, and a lot of that is Jackson and that offensive line controlling the ball.
Yeah, they controlled the ball for nearly 19 minutes of that first half. Northwestern will kick it off with Quadri Henderson waiting deep for Pitt. They have kept it away from Henderson today and do so again here as that dives at the 30 and is dove on by Pitt as we check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Not great news, Ryan, for Pitt fans. James Conner, their star running back, is questionable. I just spoke to Pat Narduzzi. He told me he took a hit to the head, and they don't know right now if he can go. He said, we'll see. When it comes to Pitt, though, they have some depth there. Quadri Olson last year, when Conner missed most of that season, had over 1,000 yards, was the ACC Rookie of the Year. Stopping Justin Jackson, obviously a concern for Narduzzi and the defensive staff. He said they have to win the battles up front. Jackson's getting loose.
Well, a little misdirection here as Henderson gets loose. And Henderson veering back right all the way down to the 10-yard line before he is finally brought down by Trey Williams. And that is how you want to start the second half if you're Pitt. A 58-yard dash by Quadri Henderson. It'll be first and goal from the 10 as they get right back to it. This time falling in the backfield, it's Allison with a significant loss on first down.
Wow, seeing Henderson in space, the way that jet sweep works, you just see him start to fly by people. I thought he was going to take it to the house the way he was cutting back, but that is a quick man in space.
Beginning of the game, we saw Henderson fumble one of those opportunities on the sweep there coming out of the second half. Into the second half, a chance to remedy that, and boy does he ever.
2nd and 13 for Pitt, as they can get a first down just outside the goal line. They give to Arujo Lopes, and Arujo Lopes works his way inside the 5, kept slipping tackles. Nate Hall finally banging him to the ground, and it will be 3rd and short after the nifty run there by Lopes.
He's 5'9", 185. Henderson 5'8", 190. I mean, these are guys hard, Mike, in space to get your arms around.
But we mentioned, too, this offense wanting to get the ball to James Conner. Well, now you take him out here, and you're going to have to make up that production by committee here, getting back to some of the other aspects of this Pitt offense that have been a bit stagnant today.
3rd and 4, can get a first down at the 1. Peterman to throw. Gonna run it. Peterman is in. Pitt takes the lead. Nathan Peterman from 5 yards out. And in 4 plays, Pitt goes 68 yards for the score.
You know, Mike, you're starting to see that momentum turn after their big score. And even though Northwestern got down the field at the end of the half with some penalties, they didn't score. Pitt gets the ball here and right down the field.
Blew it on for the extra point. It took just 1 minute and 47 seconds. Started by the Quadri Henderson 58-yard run. Finished by Peterman himself. Pitt has jumped back in front, 17-14 early in the third. Flynn Nagel, Solomon Vault, way deep to receive as Nathan Peterman chats after his 5-yard touchdown run. Vault moving towards Nagel, takes it away from him. Not much room on the right side, and Vault is cut down just outside the 10. Well, we are bearing down on the New Year's 6. Such fantastic contests await us beginning Friday on ESPN. All right, Junior, obviously all terrific games, but what's the one that you really cannot wait for of those 6?
Well, I get caught up in the nostalgia of the game, certainly, but that Rose Bowl matchup between USC and Penn State, we know Penn State just on the outside of looking into the playoffs, and SC maybe playing better ball than anyone down the stretch.
Thorson on a play action. Dumps it to Carr, his 3rd catch. And how about for you, Golick Sr.?
I mean, listen, the playoff games kind of are going to be what they're going to be. Other than that, I look at that Orange Bowl matchup, Michigan and Florida State. And I'll tell you in a minute why I worry a little bit about Florida State.
Golick very adept at teasing as that is deflected incomplete. Go ahead and pay off the tee.
You know, I heard Janine Edwards do a report this morning on SportsCenter about Florida State and just their season. We know how they got smoked against Louisville. Other lackluster games where they have team meetings about. One of the players, one of the older players, kind of chastising the younger players during bowl practice to pick it up a little bit. They seem to be so talented, but just at times slack off. And against a Michigan team, we know a Harbaugh-prepared team can try and lay the hammer to you early.
Crowd getting into it here on 3rd down. Thorson fires, and that is corralled for a 1st down on the far sideline by Andrew Scanlon. A 10-yard gain and 2nd big 3rd down catch of the day for Scanlon.
Scanlon's a guy they weren't even sure was going to be back here this year. It's an incredible effort. Maddox all over him in coverage right there.
Now the coaching staff saying he embraced the tough road back and has become a factor for this team, especially leadership-wise, as Thorson slides ahead. Nice gain on 1st down as Price was there. A 7-yard run for Clayton Thorson.
And even though he ran, that really wasn't because of the pressure. As he stepped up in the pocket, there was a big hole there to run. It's been hit or miss for this Pitt defensive line. They got a lot of sacks this year, especially with Price getting pressure, and then at times this Northwestern line doing a nice job of giving their quarterback some time.
Jackson meets a wall, and the wall wins. It'll be 3rd and short to Lenny and Soto there for Pitt.
Got to be big, Mike, from your offensive side right now. You just have the other team score, take the lead, and you don't want to get out this quickly and have to punt the ball back.
No, for a Pitt team that was reeling for so much of that 1st half, again, you dominate time of possession. You'd run way more plays on offense than we had seen. And now here, a chance for this Pitt defense to get off the field on 3rd down.
3rd and 2. Thorson with time. Over the middle, it is caught, but it looks like shy of the 1st down marker. Flynn Nagel, he is very close. Right near a 1st down, and Pat Narduzzi is out onto the field, not happy.
Yeah, we'll see where they spot it. They're giving it to him.
They are going to give him the 1st down. That looked like a generous spot at first glance, but we'll take another look here.
And Onega was 2 yards past the first down, but then he got pushed by the defender, and that put him in front of it a bit. But he ends up getting enough for the first down. And they'll review it. But I was going to say that would be on the receiver. He's got to be at the sticks. He was 2 yards past the sticks.
Right.
And the defender, who was completely legal, shoved him and ended up shoving him in front of the sticks again.
And thus giving us a very close spot. It's Pat Narduzzi in his second year at the helm of Pitt and awaits the ruling to see whether or not his defense will get off the field.
Pat Narduzzi, just can't say enough about the job he's done with this Pitt program in the early going here now. Put a lot of money into that school, really. Putting a lot of money into renovating their facility over on the south side, a building they share with the Pittsburgh Steelers there. Because he said coming in, he sat down with all the kids on the team and asked them what they wanted out of this, what they wanted changed with their program. They asked for new pants. They said our game pants are too heavy. He looked around at a meeting room that had no depth to it and decided that he was going to start changing this culture by giving these kids the other amenities that you're used to seeing in college football.
The ruling on the field stands. First down.
It will be a first down as the ruling stands. And I thought another interesting perspective along those lines that Coach Narduzzi shared with us, Golick Jr., is that, you know, he could have taken other head coaching jobs along the way as he continued to have success as a defensive coordinator at Michigan State. But he is a loyal guy and wanted to make sure it was the right opportunity. And Pitt was one that he finally felt was absolutely right. Here comes Jackson. With space outside, a stiff arm and run out of bounds with another Northwestern first down. Devon Edwards finally chased him after an 11-yard gain.
Such a great job getting the edge. Again, we saw him with that early on, one big run up the middle, but he's really had a lot of success around the ends with his speed.
Thorson, low throw, is caught. Skoranek able to corral.
Getting waved off now.
Yeah. Did he get his arms under it? Ooh, he may have. Skoranek may have just gotten his arms under it.
Set the game clock to 10:31.
You saw it kind of bounce up. You wonder if that bounced up off his hands or off the ground.
Right. The Yankee Stadium field here. Like a tough hop at shortstop.
There you go. Scooping.
We had a chance to visit with manager Joe Girardi at halftime. Very fired up about his Northwestern Wildcats.
Sure is. Delayed that vacation. Watch this crew.
That's right. Here's Jackson. Couldn't shake free. Cut down by Galambos. And Matt Galambos has been all over the field today for Pitt.
The coaches raved about this guy. Mike Cabrera, their other linebacker, is a guy that may be a bit limited athletically there, going to work hard. Galambos really asked to do a lot, and they're right there scraping over the top, fending off would-be blockers, and continuing to make plays.
Northwestern 7 of 11 on third downs today. Trying to continue the drive in response to the Pitt score. Jackson to the outside, spins, keeps his footing, dives near the first down marker on an outstanding effort, and he is going to be very close on that third down run, just shy. It'll be 4th and short, and we know Coach Fitzgerald very aggressive with the Wildcats.
Came with the outside blitz, but the blitzer went underneath the blocks again and give the outside to Northwestern. Cabrera comes over and makes a nice play, but gets stiff-armed, and you know Pat Fitzgerald is going for it on 4th and 1.
So Thorson right under center. They are 1 for 1 on 4th down today. Last time it was a QB keeper. This time it is as well.
2 for 2.
And Thorson certainly looked like he got it. No official indication yet. Now there is. It's a first down for Northwestern.
No hesitation by Pat Fitzgerald on what he wants to do.
No, he made that abundantly clear to us, and the numbers backed him up this season. But this is a guy with enough confidence in this group, wants to keep it rolling.
1st and 10 now from the Pitt 43. Thorson to throw. Under pressure and down. Soto ended up wrapping him up after the initial pressure came from James Folston. and a loss of 1. Already 12 plays on this drive. This will be the 13th. Lobbed left, and the pass is caught by Scanlon. Again, going to the ground to dig it out.
I'm noticing Mike Thorson's, big kid, 6'4", 220, not getting a lot of the ball right now when he takes it to the outside. It's really kind of floating on him. That be the weather? I'm not sure, but doesn't have a whole lot of zip on it right now.
Northwestern 7 of 12 on third downs, facing a 3rd and 7 from the Pitt 40. Jackson to the left of Thorson, gets the handoff around the space, first down and more. What a cut! And Jackson is gone again. $40 yards for Justin Jackson, who's over 200 on the day.
Looking back at the touchdown run right here. Pitt on defense, 3rd down with some distance there, firing their middle linebacker at the line of scrimmage. So as soon as Justin Jackson is able to break through that first level, there's no one right there to tackle him. And then just a sensational move that he puts on Dennis Briggs at the 2nd level to spring loose and a walk-in touchdown.
3rd of the day for Jackson, as the extra point is booted through, and Northwestern responds to the quick Pitt score with a 14-play, 89-yard drive that ends with a 40-yard dash from Jackson. And what a juke to throw the exclamation point on it. Now at the new stadium, the Pinstripe Bowl in its 7th season, and there have been some tight contests throughout the years, overtime each of the last 2 years. Mike Golick Jr. played a regular season game here during his career at Notre Dame.
One of those Notre Dame Army games.
That's right. Henderson's going to get a chance here. Quadri Henderson in space and across the 45-yard line as we check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Gentlemen, I mentioned at the start of the 3rd quarter, James Conner, his return was questionable due to that head injury that Pat Narduzzi told me. He has not returned to the field, not even in street clothes. And this being his senior year, his last go at a bowl game, you look at the career he's had, it's been amazing. James Conner, 2nd all-time at Pitt to only a guy named Tony Dorsett, who was the leading rusher in NCAA history until Ricky Williams in 1998. So James Conner, obviously a legend at Pitt. We don't know if we'll see him again out here.
Such unfortunate news there, as we'd love to see him, as Allison catches it inside the 30 and then take it down inside the 25-yard line. Montre Hardage and Kyle Cairo there, a gain of 30 as Quadri Allison gets the chance because of the injury to James Conner, who we certainly send our best wishes for. We know that his story will be followed into his pro career with the same inspiration and interest that we've seen as he has overcome Hodgkin's lymphoma here at Pitt. On 1st down, Allison again, this time for a couple.
Look at a kid in Allison again. Last year, ACC Freshman of the Year, the running back there, over 1,000 yards for him in James Conner's stead last year. Could have been very easy for a kid that year, this year now, just barely over 100 yards in the regular season, to mail it in, to be out of focus, to not have that attention to detail, but goes through this bowl season practice, kept himself ready, and now in the moment getting that opportunity, making the most of it with some big plays here already for Pitt.
It's a great point. You never know when your opportunity comes about, and he's making the most of it right now. Certainly our best, as you said, Ryan, to Conner, but he's a kid who's got the chance. He's making the most of it.
Peterman on the play action, under pressure, gonna run across the 20 inside the 17 and steps out of bounds with a 1st down for Pitt.
And again, we showed that hit to Conner. Looks like he just took a helmet right to the chin area and the lower face mask, and and that's all it took for him. And really, there's no need to chance anything out here, even if he wants to play. There's not a reason to do it, even though it's your last game. I get that. We don't know the situation, but there's just not anything to mess with right now as he gets ready for the next level.
No, and we've seen this push when it comes to head injuries or things that appear around that area. College teams and players alike have gotten much better at reporting and dealing with that.
Give to Allison. He hits right into the ground across the 15 by Tyler Lancaster.
Got enough for the first down, though. Looks like.
We call that an efficient run. It may not look the prettiest. It's an inside power play right there, an A-gap run.
Yeah, initially it thought Peterman had picked it up on his run, but on the 3rd and 1. And now you see Dorian Johnson down for Pitt, and he is a consensus first-team All-American who has had an unbelievable season.
They talk about this guy as what, the first in 22 years to be that consensus All-American, and almost the can't miss at the next level. That size of 6'6", 6'5", 315 pounds, just a greater type of a guard. And love this guy, and what he's done is he's trying to get to his feet. Again, he's the left guard. He's pulling. Looks like just gets caught up in the trash, and a couple of guys fall on the back of his legs, which is, Mike, you know, you're an O-lineman, you know, you don't even know it's coming. You're blocking, next thing you know, there's a bunch of trash and players on the back of your legs.
You see him walking off gingerly like now. This is a kid who was on his way, getting ready to go to the Senior Bowl after this season was over right there, and certainly hope it's nothing that would threaten that opportunity. Again, the consensus first-team All-American for them, another in a long and storied tradition of great Pittsburgh offensive line.
I played against one of them when I was at Notre Dame, playing against Bill Fralick.
Yeah.
You know, when he was at Pitt, we played against each other in the NFL as well. One of the greatest O-linemen to ever play in college was Fralick. And again, Dorian Johnson, just the prototypical size for the next level, and really a high ceiling for him. So we really, really hope he's all right.
So John Guy will come in and replace Johnson, and it'll be a 1st and 10 for Pitt. As Henderson goes in motion. Peterman gives to Allison, and not much there. Joe Gaziano on the stop. No gain on 1st down.
Amazingly enough, Guy, who just came in, I was watching that play, he got rolled up right at the end of the play as well, and just got up kind of slowly and limping. So, man, that's and again, as an O-lineman, and you know, Mike, as well as anyone, you never see that coming.
Well, and for Pitt, they have not only had a stout offensive line performance-wise, they've been healthy all year on that offensive line as well. Peterman juggles the snap, picks it up, and gets plastered. At the 31-yard line, dropped. Xavier Washington planted him on a loss of 18.
They're running the ball in, the ref's blowing the whistle. Peterman didn't even know the snap was coming. There was absolute miscommunication.
Ruling on the field as the runner was down.
Tyler Lancaster, who, as Junior was talking about earlier, always plays with a smile on his face, decided to run it all the way into the end zone. We'll take another look.
So he takes the hit here. Xavier Washington with the hit. The ball comes out, but the runner ruled down. And look, he wasn't even ready for the snap. Snap coming from Alex Officer, wasn't even looking for it. The snap was off to the right anyway. And then the hit there by Washington. Ball on the ground, but saying runner is down.
Now, if it stays as called, it would be a 3rd and 28. And you can hear some boos from the crowd here and the Northwestern faithful, thinking that should have been a fumble. And now they're going to look.
Field was that the runner was down prior to fumbling the ball. Previous play is now under further review.
So again, and I'm going to say it too, they're looking at the fumble, but they're also going to be looking at Xavier Washington for targeting. You know, that's been a call a lot in college. You see Washington come in, his helmet makes contact with the helmet with Peterman.
I have a feeling this is one that Northwestern fans are going to end up being doubly mad about right there. Again, called down on the field was Peterman. Looks like that may be difficult to overturn. But if we're going by the letter of the law and what we've seen called as far as targeting all season, this looks like it's going to be one that's tough for the officials to ignore.
It does, and I've been on record to say, Mike, I hate the rule. I can't stand the rule of one time and a guy being thrown out of the game. I understand the head injuries. I understand where we are in football right now, but I've seen too many of the bad calls where I you know, get going on social media a little bit, and I just get so frustrated with a football play when sometimes the level drops, you know, in this case a quarterback or a receiver, but the defender is still the one penalized for it, and it just drives me crazy.
It's a shame you don't have a weekday morning platform to vent those frustrations. We're glad to allow you that opportunity here.
But by the rule and the way they call it, I think I agree with you. I think Xavier Washington might be done in this ball game. I hope he's not, but I think by rule he may be.
Well, it's interesting. The Northwestern sideline was watching the replay on the board, celebrating over and over again. They're thinking about it just through the perspective of, is it a fumble or not? Not even realizing that it could be targeting, and they are reviewing this for both.
What puts Washington in that position too is Joe Gaziano on the other side, coming there, bearing down on Peterman and getting the sack. So he's starting to go to the ground right as Washington's coming over, thinks he's ready to get a great hit in on the quarterback, and instead, bang bang play may result in a shortened version of his Pinstripe Bowl experience.
Do you like the rule?
No, I can't stand it. I think it's ridiculous.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called.
So it stands, no targeting and no fumble. It'll be 3rd down and long for Pitt.
They said for Xavier Washington, his head was turning as he made the tackle there, attempting to lead with the shoulder. So good for that young man as well to be able to continue on his day here. A guy tied for the 2nd lead on the team in sacks.
Absolutely right.
Pat Narduzzi had come all the way out past the numbers to argue his call and had to be escorted back to the sideline by the officials. 3rd and 28 for Pitt. Peterman to throw. Quick drop. Caught, but taken down right away is Weah by Montre Hardage.
So he gets him at the 25, so if you want to try it, it'd be a 42-yard field goal attempt. Give him some space on the outside, make the quick throw, try and gain enough yards to make it a little shorter of a field goal here. Again, it feels windy up where we are, but if you look at the flags on the uprights, they're barely moving at all.
And Blewett has hit from 46 into this end zone already today. This is from 43. His kick with plenty of leg again, but it is no good, pushed it right. And Northwestern backs up its score with a stop and will take over. (21-17), the score remains in favor of the Wildcats. Blewett just pushed it right. And after hitting from 46, he can't connect from 43, and he knew it. Pat Fitzgerald, plenty to celebrate. His Wildcats take over up 4. Well, Chris Blewett, who connected from 46 yards earlier, misses from 43, and Northwestern's lead is still 4 as they take over. First and 10 from their own 25. Jackson slips a tackle and another, but not the 3rd. So no need to leave your couch or change your channel all day long, as Jackson gets it again, strung out left, and Galambos there to swallow him up.
Yeah, just if you have to leave your couch, just make sure it's just to get snacks.
Yeah, that's it.
To get right back and watch. And there, nice job by Pitt. We've seen Jackson too many times get the corner on this defense. That time, a nice job of everybody doing their job on that defense on the right side of the defense and staying home and making the play.
Well, 9 times this year, Pitt has held the opponent under 100 yards rushing, but today, Jackson has gashed them for 214. But Pitt has had one of the stouter run defenses in the country. Thorson on a 3rd down, the pitch to Jackson. This time he has nowhere to go. Dennis Briggs wraps him up behind the 20, a loss of 8 on 3rd down.
Dennis Briggs getting his revenge right there. If you'll remember the last Jackson long touchdown run, he was the proud recipient of a great move in the open field, and this time coming up, putting that outside shoulder, or putting his inside shoulder, I should say, into the superback's chest, keeping his outside arm free, and being able to make a great play on Jackson.
Quadri Henderson and Avante Maddox both back to receive the punt for punter Nicewander. It's blocked! The punt is blocked! And Dova at the 22-yard line. Huge play for Pitt. Trailing in this game, they take over deep in Northwestern territory as Shontez Moss comes up with the block punt.
Excellent job. I mean, really, just going over the top. Mike, you were one of those 3 personal protectors when you were playing. I mean, it's not like they got blown back at all. Give the Pittsburgh player credit. He just went up and his hand was right on the ball.
And had to have been a bit of a low-angle punt on that one, because usually you're in phase enough with that shield in front of you so that something like that can't happen. That wasn't a designed punt block, just a great effort play.
Nothing doing on 1st down.
I was waiting for that quick change of possession like that to see Pitt try one for the end zone. They just go for that basic run up the middle. Good, solid defense by Northwestern. These are big change of possession here. What are you on both sides of the ball? Again, Northwestern, can you get a turnover back? Can you hold them to a field goal attempt? For Pittsburgh, you got to get points out of this.
Ben Tanucci is in at quarterback for Pitt. Nathan Peterman out. Shontez Moss in at running back as the give is to Henderson on that jet sweep. Now let's get an update from Paul Carcaterra.
Well, 2 things cooking here on the Pitt sideline. Dorian Johnson, the first-team All-American, a right ankle injury. He's got ice on it right now. Doesn't look like he'll return anytime soon. And I'm about 10-15 yards away from Nate Peterman. He's having a conversation with one of the assistant coaches. Doesn't look like anything specific in terms of the trainers working on him, and I'll give you an update once I get some more info.
He got a big hit to the face from Xavier Washington on the last possession. Tanucci flushed out, fires, it's caught. 1st down yardage on the sideline as Tontez Ford makes the grab, and Tanucci fired up.
Saw that shot of Peterman before on the sideline without his helmet right there, and that's something worth noting. We saw him take that big shot earlier, and we know that's part of that new practice in college football, which is making sure you save the players from themselves a bit there.
And they take that helmet away from them, so we'll see if that's it.
Things getting wild here at Yankee Stadium at the end of 3. Pitt with their backup quarterback driving down 4. And even though Matthews was not ejected for targeting, Peterman is out of the game, and Ben DiNucci is in at quarterback. Pitt has already lost James Conner to a hit up high earlier, and DiNucci, the redshirt freshman, taking over under center, completed a big 3rd down pass moments ago. Up the middle, Moss gains 3. It'll be 2nd down. Igwebuike on the tackle. Now, just how unlikely is it to see DiNucci in this game? Well, he's not even on anybody's depth chart today. He's not on your game board. He's not in the program. You got to go digging to find out about the Wexford, PA native who had an incredible senior year at Pine Richland. Became the first player in Pennsylvania history to throw for 4,000 yards in a season when he was in high school. Danucci will keep it. Makes him then miss inside, but then gets tripped on the ankles by Williams. And it will be 3rd down.
Here's the Pennsylvania Gatorade Player of the Year, a second-team USA Today All-American, and now it's really going to get put to the test. We know there's a lot of mechanics to this offense, and coming off bowl season, you wonder just how much work he got in there. We know, especially early on, there could be young guys emphasized in some of those practices, so maybe benefiting for him right here, getting some looks and some reps with the way that this offense is supposed to work.
That's a great point, because these 15 bowl practices you get, a lot of the early ones are the younger players, so maybe he did benefit from that.
3rd and 5. Danucci, play action, fires in the front. Aston has it, and Aston is in. Or is he? Perhaps just shy of the goal line?
Not again. That happened to him early when he fell and his knee hit.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Now they'll say touchdown. No official had raised their arm.
I mean, come on.
Touchdown.
Let's give the fullback the touchdown. We saw earlier when he slipped and his knee went down. This time he got in. Nice little throw by the quarterback, but it was Shontez Moss, the running back, who got a great block on the blitz pickup to give the quarterback some time.
And an excellent stretch there from Aston, who clearly got in. The officials late to signal. Pitt was running off the field, and the Northwestern defense was staying on like, what's happening here? But a touchdown for Aston, and Pitt jumps in front with Blewett on for the extra point. He boots it through, and the Panthers have the lead again. A 6-play, 22-yard drive, and the first touchdown pass of Ben Danucci's collegiate career as Aston takes it in. Panthers in front by 3, early 4th quarter action at Yankee Stadium. Let's take a look with our Buick Drive recap as Ben Danucci took over for Nathan Peterman and able to make some big throws.
Really impressive poise by the young man, the redshirt freshman, coming into this game late and then towards the end of the drive. We've seen the shots of James Conner on the sideline now in street close, so what do we get? The freshman Shontez Moss coming in with a great job in blitz pickup there, able to allow Danucci to get the ball out to his fullback, George Gaston.
So Pitt now with their star running back, James Conner, out, and their very effective quarterback, Nathan Peterman, also out. Yet here they are, having taken the lead against Northwestern, 24-21. After the score to Aston. Nagel and Balt. And it's Balt who will come out of the end zone. Trying to shimmy his way free. Twists across the 20. And finally down to the 23 as we check in with Paul.
Peterman, no helmet. He appears done. Who is Ben Danucci? No one had him on their boards. You three didn't. I didn't. I actually met his cousin just a few minutes ago, Brian Caldwell, who works for an affiliate news station in Pittsburgh. I said, you got to give me some stuff on this kid. He said he's tough as nails, Gatorade Player of the Year in 2014 in Pennsylvania, and he knew he'd be the backup. He said he might not be on the depth chart, but Ben himself knew he was the next guy up. Comes from a big Italian family. He's tough as nails, and his cousin said he's not surprised he has ice in his veins.
Thank you for that info, Paul, as we all learn a little more about Ben Danucci, who did play earlier this year in mop-up duty against Duke, but obviously a much different circumstance here, thrust into a tight game in the 4th quarter in a bowl game.
Yeah, and based on the weather environment tonight gives a whole new meaning to the phrase coming in cold at this point in the game. So a really sensational first drive from him.
I see what you did there, Juice. 2nd and 4, play action. Thorson throws high, but it's hauled in by Carr, and he has first down yardage.
Well, we've seen both teams answer, against one another now. Let's see if Northwestern can do it as well. There was a lot of Northwestern talk in the first half, the way they controlled the ball, controlled the clock, controlled the plays. Now it's been Pitt making the plays, and Northwestern not being able to cash in.
Thorson to throw. Heaves one right. Carr again. And another first down. Reggie Mitchell there on the stop.
We talked about Pitt now having to sort of do it by committee. James Conner out, Peterman out, their star left guard out as well at this point. So having to find other players step up. If you're Northwestern, you rely on your stars, and Carr right here, just a great route by him. They rave about this kid as a route runner, as a worker, just in general, the young man that he is. Relying on him and Jackson is what's going to get them back on top in this game.
5 catches, 40 yards now for Carr. Thorson, down he goes. Grabbed on the ankles by Jeremiah Delaney, and a loss of 4 on first down.
You know, again, Pitt defense had 39 sacks during the year, and they've been hot and cold in this game with pressure. Here was one where just a great push as Thorson tries to step up in the pocket. It collapses on him. That's where the quarterback doesn't want that pressure. Forget the blind side. It's that push right up the gut that gets him. 4th sack for Delaney.
Make that for the Pitt defense today, as Thorson finds Jackson in the flat, trying to evade a few defenders and does. Tiptoes his way for more yards than you would have thought as he was squeezed along the sideline.
That's exactly where you want the ball to go. You've got the swing pass to Jackson right there, as Pitt sends 2 of their linebackers right up the gut of that.
You're going, oh no, if you're a defender saying we're going to send our guys up the gut, and there they go wide.
Now a 3rd down and 9 for Northwestern, under 11 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. A game that's had 4 lead changes. Thorson gives to Jackson, 1 jump cut. Veering right, pushing his way towards the first down marker, but is shy of it as he's knocked out of bounds by Reggie Mitchell and Avonte Maddox.
Yeah, it's 4th and 2 or 3. Guess what's going to happen now?
Pat Fitzgerald has gone for it all day. Gain of 6. We've also seen Northwestern run a lot on 3rd and longs and had success.
Up the gut too, yeah. And I mean, now Jackson will do his bouncing outside, but the play for the most part starts up the middle.
But when you've got this in mind, that you know more often than not 4th down is going to be something in play for you, it gives you that flexibility at play call.
Northwestern 2 for 2 on 4th down today. It's a 4th and 3. And a timeout taken by Pitt.
First charge timeout, Pittsburgh.
Big play in this 4th quarter coming.
30-second timeout.
So either, to me, I see either that run, Jackson doing so well, or we're going to watch for one of the slot guys because they're getting some cushion on the outside. We'll find out.
Pittsburgh with a 3-point lead as Northwestern faces this 4th and 3 goal. Look, and you were just setting up what may transpire for the Northwestern offense on this 4th and 3. Tonight after the AdvoCare V100 Texas Bowl, catch SportsCenter at night with Neil Everett. He'll have all the highlights from the bowl games as well as the NBA, NHL, college hoops, NFL news, everything else from your Wednesday. SportsCenter at night after Texas A&M and Kansas State on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
So again, what we look for, you got Jackson, obviously he's the main threat the defense is going to look at, but let's look and see the slot receivers, whether it's Carr or whether it's Nagel, and look at the cushion. Normally there's a pretty good cushion. On 4th and 2 or 3, you wouldn't expect there to be as much of a cushion, but if there is, you may look for Thorson to go there with the ball if he's going to throw it, not go to Jackson on the run.
And can you use some of that attention that's been going Jackson's way, having the prolific night he is, use it as part of a fake that could potentially get someone else open. He's been that effective tonight.
219 yards for Jackson thus far, a 4th and 3 for Northwestern. From the 46 of Pitt.
Look at right here. Giving him some space.
That's Nagel. To the sideline, the catch is made. Macon Wilson digs it up for a first down.
Wow. Nagel ran up the field. They just do the quick shot to get the first down. Low throw.
Northwestern quickly snaps it. They did not want a review of that catch.
Prior to the snap, previous play is now under review.
Well, clearly they did not get the snap off in time, as the previous play will indeed be reviewed.
Big review, change of possession review here.
We'll wait and see if it holds up. Macon Wilson, sort of emblematic of this receiving unit as a whole this year. No catches for him last season. This year, 19 for 259 yards coming into this game. Overall, for this group of receivers, a 242% increase in receptions from last year to this year.
That's unbelievable, and that's going to be a catch. I don't see that any way getting overturned. I think that's first down Northwestern.
To Mike Jr.'s point, this wide receiving core had a total of 61 receptions going into this season. Carr, Nagel, Dickerson, Scanlon, Vaught, Wilson, they all ended up with career highs this season in receptions and receiving yards.
And you see he got his hands, I definitely got his hands on that ball. I don't see any point where it hit the ground. Kept two hands on that ball the entire time. Great job getting his hands under the ball. To me, no way this gets overturned.
Obviously, Pat Narduzzi feels differently.
He'll sell it. There's the stunner he thinks it is. But you know what? Eye in the sky don't lie.
Neither coach here short on passion.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It was a completed catch.
So 3 for 3. Northwestern is on 4th down. As Pat Fitzgerald has stayed aggressive, and it has paid off throughout this game. And now Northwestern keeps the move on. A drive that started at the 24 has gone 7 plays and 35 yards in just over 3 minutes thus far. Thorson with time. That pass clearly intercepted by Avonte Maddox, who already has 1 pick today.
Boy, he stepped in front of that one. I thought he had it. Offensive receiver was trying to turn into defender there.
Garrett Dickerson, the superback, trying to use that big body to shield. Maddox having none of it.
Thorson rolling, firing, knocked away. Reggie Mitchell. This is a Pitt secondary that has been much maligned throughout the season. Gave up 61 points to Syracuse last on the field, but a couple of big plays back-to-back.
And Reggie Mitchell, the guy that had to step in and start the final 2 games after their stud Jordan Whitehead went out in that secondary.
Crowd fired up. A 3rd and 10 for Northwestern. Carr with some room. Carr has the first down. A gain of 11. Dennis Briggs finally stops Austin Carr.
And they're just going to keep going right now as Pitt's trying to get some new defensive linemen in. As this drive keeps going, great blocking downfield on that quick pass for the first down.
Thorson to throw again. Over the middle, it's Dickerson. At the 25-yard line, a gain of 5.
Seeing both, well, when Peterman was in, now he's out, but we talked about it with him, and even now Thorson, some of these passes going low. There, Dickerson had nobody around him, could have had some room to run, but the pass forced him to the ground.
Thorson heaving out of bounds. Now, senior, is that, in your estimation, does that have to do with the cold weather, the inaccurate passing, you think?
Seeing that ball go down for both these quarterbacks, I have to think for some reason they're not getting either the release point or what they want on that ball for having to go in as low as they are.
It was 60 and sunny yesterday in the Bronx.
Yeah,
today,
where'd that go?
Yeah, it's in the 30s and breezy. 13th play of the drive on a 3rd and 5. High snap. Screen set up. Nagel tiptoeing. And he's cut down shy of the first down marker. A field goal would tie the game. It is 4th and 2.
No way. I mean, come on. This is Pat Fitzgerald. Mike, to your point, it was 3rd and 5. They're running it like 2 downs, right? I mean, they're calling like a two-down territory, and exactly what it is.
They are putting the receivers now in chances to make plays. We've seen more drop-back passing on this drive from Northwestern than we have all game.
No field goal attempt here. They're already 3 for 3 on 4th down today. Thorson to throw. Has time. And a man. Dickerson, the first down. And the touchdown. Northwestern back in front. Clayton Thorson to Garrett Dickerson.
Just gets lost coming through the zones right over here. Dickerson sneaks out the backside. We see Caprera, the closest defender right there, but just has no chance as the big man streaks in.
Obviously a blown coverage there. Easy touchdown. And there's Pat Fitzgerald. No way he's punting or kicking field goals, it doesn't seem.
He's been aggressive all game. 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions that drive. 4 for 4 on the afternoon. Northwestern goes 14 plays with 76 yards. Dickerson puts the Wildcats back in front as Fitzgerald's aggressive nature pays off yet again. Northwestern with a 14-play, 76-yard drive gives us our 5th lead change of the afternoon. Wildcats in front 28-24 as the dangerous Quadri Henderson waits back deep to receive. And it is booted over his head and through the end zone for a touchback.
And what a disappointment for that team that coming into this season, you sign Ryan Fitzpatrick to the 1-year deal going in and think he's your answer after a prolific year last year. The bottom is completely.
Oh, it really has.
And DiNucci, backup quarterback in. Nathan Peterman, the starter, out hurt. DiNucci gives to Henderson. Henderson can't rattle 3. And lost the football. And Northwestern says they have it. They do. Henderson had trouble holding on to one earlier, and now again loses the football as Northwestern will take over deep in Pitt territory. Anthony Walker and Brent Walsh there on the hit.
The guy that won't show up in the books here is right there, Trey Williams, number 29. He keeps Henderson bottled up to let all his teammates come over there. He won't get the tackle, he won't get the assist, but he's the reason that the rest of his teammates were able to come over there and get the fumble and get the recovery. Great job keeping contained.
And Tyler Lancaster falls on it for Northwestern. A huge turnover in this game as the Wildcats up 4 take over deep in Pitt territory. Breaking 3, it's Moten. He has speed and slides down inside the 15. Make it Justin Jackson on the rush. 13 yards for Jackson. And he now has a Pinstripe Bowl record, 232 yards on the ground.
And after a drive last time full of drop-back passing for them, getting back to their bread and butter, getting a couple of linemen pulling around in front of Jackson and letting him get that edge.
Continues to add to the career high. He keeps going to work. Can't shed the tacklers here. And it is Alan Edwards who got to him first. A loss of 7 and a big play for the Pitt defense, who desperately wants to hold Northwestern to a field goal attempt here.
And they'll just keep with the workload with him. Like you mentioned, how much he's carried the ball, not only this year, 266, but last year against Illinois, carried the ball 37 times. So hard work and toting the rock is nothing new to this guy many times a game.
And he just lost the Pinstripe Bowl record on that 7-yard loss. So to try and get it back. Here, thrown to him behind the line. Jackson dives inside the 20. Shakir Soto on the stop. And that'll set up 3rd down and 15 with under 7 minutes to go in this 4th quarter.
The Pitt defense sending that 3rd down package, and keep your eye on Quentin Morginis, their 3rd down specialist at linebacker, who comes in these sub packages here, was used as a blitzer a lot throughout the early portion of the season. seen him also work his way into coverage and make some big plays for this team.
John Moten in, Jackson out on this 3rd and 15 for Northwestern from the 19 of Pitt. And 9 of 17 on 3rd down today. Force it to the end zone. In traffic, it is knocked away nicely by Avonte Maddox, who has had a few standout plays this afternoon.
Trying to work on Maddox. You're right. You know, Pick almost had another pick here. They're trying to go at him again, but well covered. Both jumping up, going to high point. It gets a hand on it. Excellent play.
Sudden change response for that Pitt defense there. Put on a short field after the costly turnover and able to hold them. We'll see to just how much.
Jack Mitchell, 7 of 11 this season. This will be from 37 yards. The kick with plenty of leg, and it is booted straight through. It's a 7-point Northwestern lead as they convert the Quadri Henderson fumble into 3 with 6:17 to go in this 4th quarter. Presented by Capital One immediately following this game. Guys, I feel like Justin Jackson might have a good shot at the MVP if Northwestern wins.
If Northwestern can hang on, yeah. I think it'll be somewhat of an easy vote.
He has 228 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Let's see if Ben DiNucci has something to say about that.
The backup quarterback for Pitt is in. And keep it away from Henderson here as it's picked up by an up man at the 25-yard line. And around the 32 is where Pitt will begin after a 7-yard return. And so now Ben DiNucci, who I'm sure was not expecting to get in this game today, is going to be asked to lead the Pitt Panthers with Nathan Peterman out injured. James Conner, their star tailback, who's been one of the more inspirational figures in all of sports, also out. It's DiNucci, the redshirt freshman, who has to lead Pitt down 7 with 6:07 to go. And off to Henderson, and he gets plowed to the ground. So right after the fumble, Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator for Pitt, puts it back in Henderson's hands. Unable to gain any ground, but does at least secure the basketball, secure the football.
Well, you know, Matt Canada got his work cut out for him right now in his last game with Pitt as their offensive coordinators. He took the job in the same capacity for Ed Orgeron down at LSU. So he was Matt Canada here, one and done for Pitt, and let's see how he can finish up his very short offensive coordinator ship here at Pittsburgh.
Got a 3-year deal. We go to LSU. Pass caught at the 35-yard line by Henderson, but again wrapped up right away. Nate Hall, and that's going to be 3rd down now for Pitt.
Canada made it very clear, too. He wanted to finish this season out in the bowl game with this team. Felt he owed it to the kids. Nate Peterman, I know, was ecstatic to hear he was coming back, and now Canada having to finish the game without his star quarterback. See if he can get it done with the redshirt freshman.
This is a Pitt team that was 10th in the nation in points per game, averaging over 42, but so far today just 24 against this Northwestern D. And a huge 3rd and 7. DiNucci under pressure, looking to run, makes a move, has the 1st down and more into Northwestern territory.
Wow.
That look right there. That's what happens when you've got man-to-man underneath that cover 2.
And Pitt right back to the line as Mollison runs left and is run out of bounds by Odenabo.
Got a flag going to be on Northwestern.
Yeah, it's way back in the secondary, sitting at about the 17-yard line. And there's another flag at the 36.
Illegal substitution. Defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
So Pitt went quickly and caught him.
But Mike, you made a great point. You know, any kind of man situation, if the quarterback could bust up, everybody's out covering. You saw all that space that he had to make the run and then make the smart move, slide feet first, get down and get ready to fight another play.
How about the poise from DiNucci?
Yeah.
Able to deliver on his first drive out there and finish it with a touchdown. See what he can do here.
Danucci rolling right. Pumping, tossing, incomplete. And Danucci took a shot after he delivered it. Joe Gaziano pasted him.
Gaziano coming up. Nice hit, good clean hit, takes him to the ground.
Gaziano, you remember, was part of the sack that ended Nate Peterman's night.
Xavier Washington created a little sandwich with Gaziano, and Nate Peterman was stuck in the middle of that.
Not nearly as nice of a sandwich as the pulled pork we had at half.
That was delicious.
Good point.
2nd and 5 for Pitt. And off to Allison, backing his way across the 40, still fighting. It ends up with first down yardage on a persistent run.
Listen, that's what you need. You have a young quarterback in there. You know who knows it most of all is his teammates. This is a guy that's not used to playing a lot, so other guys have to come through and step up, and that's what you saw there.
Danucci will give to Henderson with blocking. Quadri Henderson inside the 20-yard line. And without their starting quarterback, without their star tailback, Pitt still moving the ball down 7, trying to tie this game.
And that's exactly why you saw them hand it off to Henderson that first play of this drive. Get him back going. You knew you were going to need him to win.
The pitch to Moss, and he is engulfed behind the line. Anthony Walker on the tackle.
Well, let's see what else Matt Canada has up his sleeve, huh? I think getting number 10 the ball is a good way to find out different ways to do that.
It's a good place to start. Canada is a guy you can tell very confident in his abilities as an offensive coordinator. So just upping the degree of difficulty for him a little bit here down the stretch.
Henderson out on this play, a 2nd and 10 from the 18 of Northwestern. Danucci dumps it in the flat. That's incomplete. Intended for Arujo Lopes. Could not hang on the low throw, and it's 3rd and 10.
3rd down play, but we know we're in 4 down territory. So, I mean, you don't have to get it all here. It would be nice to, but you don't have to because you know you have to go for it on 4th.
Henderson still not on the field for Pitt on this 3rd and 10. Danucci, quick drop to the end zone. It's caught down in the arms of Orndorff and then knocked away. Jared McGee came over to make the play. Scott Orndorff had it in his hands, and for a moment it looked like an extra point away from a tie.
Absolutely a perfect throw by the redshirt freshman.
Can't say enough about the job Danucci is doing and the protection that he's getting up front. Time to step in and deliver that throw. John Guy, we know, in for the injured Dorian Johnson. They're a group that gave up 9 sacks on the year coming into it, giving their redshirt freshman quarterback a chance to deliver a perfect ball.
Give McGee all the credit there now. 4th and 10.
Danucci, play action, lob, end zone, intercepted. Northwestern holds as Jared McGee comes up with a pick. Third turnover of the day for Pitt. Driving and looking like they might go in for the tie. Back-to-back plays by McGee. This one a pick to give Northwestern the ball back, leading by 7. Number 5 Penn State and wrap up today. Number 14 Auburn and number 7 Oklahoma in the All-State Sugar Bowl. All 3 games also streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. As Thorson just bullies his way forward. Pitt with 2 timeouts remaining, trailing by 7 as we take a look back at the 4th down interception.
You look back at that last play, you're going to see right here the great defensive end for Northwestern looping around right here. Ifedi Adegbo right there coming up the middle. We hadn't called his name all day. The Big Ten leader in sacks right there, showing up just enough on the stunt is Adegbo. making a big-time impact on that throw that allows the defensive back to go for an interception.
Not letting the quarterback really get as much on that ball as he wanted to. Couldn't step into that throw.
Play clock was not running. That was the issue here.
I'm sure Pat Fitzgerald was saying about a minute and a half ran off.
Give or take.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh led the nation.
Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2:40. Reset the play clock to 40. Thank you.
Pitt led the nation in red zone touchdown efficiency this year. 82% of the time when they got into the red zone, they scored a touchdown. But today, 2 for 4, including that pick right there.
43 touchdowns on the year when they had gotten into the red zone. Just a staggering standard that they had set there that today has been anything but.
Northwestern defense has made stops all game, not just with Peterman and Connor out, as they're still trying to figure out the clock here and communicating with the sideline.
They must have called a timeout.
So they're going to wind at 2:40. The clock will start, and they have a 25-second clock. Obviously, Northwestern will let that burn down. And I would imagine after this play, Pitt's going to call their second to last timeout.
Because Pitt did not call a timeout after that first down run. So the clock should be running. Obviously, critical seconds for the end of this game, so they want to make sure they get this right. Now they will run the clock, and Northwestern will wait to snap this as long as they can.
I don't know. Let's just get a first down. Who cares?
The clock is at 4. Thorson gives to Jackson, and he is taken down short of the 5, and now Pitt will spend that second to last timeout. So it'll be 3rd down and 9 from the 4-yard line for Northwestern, leading by 7, trying to give their senior class a little bit of history. It would be the first senior class in Northwestern history to win 2 bowl games, something that was significant to Pat Fitzgerald, something he wanted for his group, and right now on the brink of pulling that off against a Pitt team that has had some very impressive wins this season. And James Conner was at the heart of them, and Paul Carcaterra going to tell us a little bit more as Conner gets ready to close out his collegiate career.
Indeed, James Conner dedicated his entire season to everyone fighting cancer. One young boy he developed a relationship with was 5-year-old Andrew O'Neill, who passed on December 12th. Andrew's wish was to meet James. James developed a relationship with Andrew, gave him the game ball after the Duke game in November, and stayed in touch with him throughout his battle. Andrew's family took part in the coin toss, and his dad, Brian, told me James whispered in Andrew's ear something after that Duke game. They later learned, he said to Andrew, "I love you."
His brother Matthew was here for that coin toss. Touching story here on 3rd down. Northwestern throwing intended for Austin Carr, incomplete, and that also stops the clock and lets Pitt get ready to receive the ball with 1 timeout remaining. What do you think of the play call there?
Not surprised. I mean, Pat Fitzgerald goes for it on 4th down, so he's going for the 1st down. He knows if he gets the 1st down, he can ice this game. Now, to wait till 3rd and long to do it, maybe mix that up in the sequence before that, I could see, but it doesn't surprise me. He's going for the 1st down to try and end the game.
Quadri Henderson and Avante Maddox ready to receive the punt. Henderson is dangerous. Will get a shot here. Trying to follow a block. And twisted to the ground at the 47-yard line. And that's where Pitt will take over. There's a flag down back at the 10-yard line. with 1:55 to go in this fourth quarter after the 50-yard punt.
Holding. Receiving team. Number 6. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
So just what you don't need. Obviously, they're setting up a return there, and Matthews got a little overzealous there with the hold. Quite honestly, I know you're kicking out of the end zone, so you just want to get the kick off, but I'm surprised the kick went to Henderson. We can kick it anywhere near him.
Time for today's Capital One player of the game. No surprise, it is Justin Jackson. A career-high 226 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He's been a workhorse, 33 carries. He had the Pinstripe Bowl record for rushing yards and then lost 7 yards. And, well, he doesn't have that record anymore, but I'm sure he'd take the victory.
Well, he'll love the award, but I think he wants that team to get the win now, and all he can do is stand and watch and hope his defense comes through.
It's the same thing Nathan Peterman can do. The starting quarterback for Pitt is out. DiNucci, trouble with the snap, able to fire it away and get it out of bounds, as Ben DiNucci did an excellent job to grab the handle and throw it away as Xavier Washington was bearing down.
It's a good job. He just got out of the pocket, or that would have been intentional grounding. That's what the referee was looking at and asking the side judge, was he out of the pocket? They conferred, said he was, so it is an incomplete pass and not a penalty.
So again for Pitt, no James Conner, no starting quarterback Nathan Peterman. It's Ben DiNucci, the redshirt freshman, who has to try and pull this off. Inside handoff goes to Moss. Anthony Walker on the tackle after a gain of 3. Under 1:40 to go. Pitt with 1 timeout remaining. Down 7. DiNucci to throw. Rolling. Firing. Intercepted! Cairo has it! And Kyle Cairo will give Northwestern a victory with that interception.
This Northwestern secondary has come up big time and time again for these guys today. Kyle Cairo, a guy who we thought got nicked up at the beginning of this game, just a great read on the route right there, puts his foot in the ground, cuts underneath, and makes an interception.
Well, I mean, you know, what you're doing with DiNucci, when you roll him out, you're taking half the field away, so there's only certain places he can look. And he's going out. There's only one receiver out there. And Cairo, as you mentioned, does a great job just stepping in front of the receiver.
Well, if you wore number 21 and played for Northwestern, you had a good afternoon. Kyle Cairo and Justin Jackson both, as Pat Fitzgerald is fired up. He has been a part of 11 of the 13 bowl games Northwestern has played in its school's history. 2 as a player, 2 as an assistant, and now 7 as a head coach, and about to get his 2nd victory.
Can't say enough about the Northwestern man that Pat Fitzgerald is.
Loyal to this program. A knee from Thorson, and that will do it. Northwestern is your 2016 New Era Pinstripe Bowl champions.
Well, I'll tell you, I know Jackson deserves the MVP, but this is a Pitt offense that averaged over 40 points a game, and this Northwestern defense held them to 24. Hats off to that defensive side of the ball. The whole team, but for that defense to stop a high-powered offense.
It was just incredible for them, and a night for Clayton Thorson right there alongside Justin Jackson, who, surprise, surprise, will be the MVP of this outfit here tonight, and rightly so for a dynamic evening.
Our final score, Northwestern 31 and Pitt 24. Stay tuned for the ESPN3 postgame trophy ceremony presented by Capital One. As we say goodbye for our entire crew from New York, let's send it to Dave Pasch and Greg McElroy in Orlando for the Russell Athletic Bowl.